Tonight's program is going to be a flamethrower. You have been warned. Some people are going to take offense to what they hear here, but then again, I would advise you to listen in its totality. And before tonight's program is finished, I can pretty much assure you that by the by, you will be fully convinced here. Particularly speaking to the men tonight. All the facts and all the information is out there at this point, and people may feel one way or another, but I don't want to talk about your feelings. I want to talk about reality. And I want to ask a simple question here. Should men be condemning P. Diddy? Should men be condemning P. Diddy? And before you make the knee-jerk reaction of saying, why, shall we? Sure should. You should be asking yourself, is that your decision? Or is that a decision that you've come to because you feel it was pressured and imposed on you by other people and you haven't taken into account the relevant facts? Jason, what are the relevant facts? Folks, the relevant facts here, and we got to be brutally honest, the relevant facts here are that if men condemn Diddy, we are setting ourselves up. I want you to think about the aspect of how it is that this man found himself behind the 8 ball. How did he find himself there? Because the state of New York, the state, passed a law that basically said that women, the overwhelming majority of folks, they knew what they were doing, that women could retroactively decide that if they regretted their hoe phase, and if the man that they did it with, common practice, you want to sit up here and sport sex your way through life during your hoe phase, during your prime years, when you were young and nubile and your breasts set up all perky and you didn't have any stretch marks from all the bastard kids and you didn't have all the drug use, that you could retroactively say, you know what? I regret giving you my hoe phase. I should have given it to somebody else there. And now I want a hoe pension. I mean, folks, a damn law. So if a woman regrets her sexual behavior, her consensual sexual behavior, you're going to give them a law that says, well, you get a mulligan. Here's the problem here to all the dunderheads and morons already jumping in the chat room trying to defend it. Let me ask you all something here. When are men going to get a law that says that we get to retroactively sue a female for paternity fraud? What? If you are one of the ADHD children sitting up here still trying to defend that, by the way, just in case you think that this is fair and equitable, we've had paternity fraud going on for thousands of years. It's not even a misdemeanor. A woman can sit here and literally lie and say that's your child, and the state will say you have to prove it isn't. And then if it turns out that she was lying the whole time, what's the penalty for her doing that? And yet, as a man, if she regrets, so they tell you that as a man, well, you should have made different sexual decisions, even if you didn't sleep with the woman, even if she just fingers you as the person and you never met her, you have to defend yourself against that. But these women get to sit up here and say, well, yeah, I had consensual sex for 10 years, but I regret it now, so it's no longer consensual, and I want to sue. Because my husband doesn't want to hear about all the freak, nasty, dirty things I was doing from sea to shining sea. Because these dudes had money and swag, and that was the place to be. And now I'm going to be a bored housewife, and old boy does not want to have to think about all the dudes who had me stretched out like a picnic table. Somebody answer that question for me. So if women get to say that they regret their past sexual behavior, they get to sue. But if men say, well, you know what? The women who lied to us about whose kid this is, lied about that. We don't get to retroactively sue them and say, hey, you have sexually violated us. Cassie gets to say, folks, How in the hell is it non-consensual how is it sex trafficking when you had to buy your own damn plane tickets for a decade? What? Some of you need to go back to kindergarten, purchase yourself some scruples and some sense. How is it non-consensual and she's buying plane tickets for a decade? Not a month. How in the hell is it sex trafficking when you are consensually throwing your legs wide open for all these dudes coming in the room? How is it sex trafficking when you've got a hotel key to the hotel room? What definition of sex trafficking is that? What is the definition of sex trafficking when you're sitting up here on Kayak buying your own plane tickets? What the hell definition of sex trafficking are some of you ignoramuses subscribing to? I'll tell you which one. A lot of you are bastard babies, not insulting you, just telling the truth. You see the world through your mama's hoe eyes, so whatever a female tells you, if she tells you up is down and blue is red, you'll be sitting right there with, Jason, don't you know blue is obviously red, can't you see? It's so obviously red, Jason. See, you just narrow-minded. I got to disagree with you, brother. Red can be blue now. Red can be blue. Some of you fellas here, some of you been to the pen. Some of you been watching your mama get stretched out, and so you consider yourself the captain and saving of all hoes. Many of you hate men as much as your mammy does. So you see men being mistreated and you telling yourself, well, you know what I mean? If he just did better, if he could just put his pants up. That's a simple reality. As men, this is the situation that we're in right now. Should we be condemning Diddy? I'm saying that you should give it some thought. If we're going to allow women to retroactively sue men for alleged sex crimes, isn't paternity fraud a sex crime? Folks, isn't paternity fraud a sex crime? Simple question. Isn't paternity fraud a sex crime? If you believe that paternity fraud is a sex crime, give me the green check mark emoji in the chat room. If paternity fraud is a sex crime, give me the green check mark emoji in the chat room. But if you think it's not a sex crime, give me the red X emoji. If paternity fraud is a sex crime, if Cassie can say that her voluntarily buying plane tickets to attend her weekly freak off, oh, that's against my consent, but you're the one buying the plane ticket. Yes, but I feel so pressured to do so, and now I'm going to claim it's sex trafficking for all those slutty things I did that I no longer want to take responsibility for. So if she gets to shirk her responsibilities for her own choices, well then isn't paternity fraud a sex crime too? And I mean a sex crime. Paternity fraud is both a sex crime and felony child abuse. Can we discuss that? Men, you have been conditioned to sit up here and defend things that are targeting you. You've been told to sit up here and say that 1 + 1 = 8, 9, 12, or whatever they say it should be. That's not reality. Let's talk about some things right quick. You want to talk about P. Diddy and an abuse of power. You want to talk about an abuse of power. You want to hear what an abuse of power is? Abortion. That a woman gets to decide whether or not you have to pay child support. Now, she gets to decide arbitrarily whether or not you become a parent and whether or not you are responsible. You don't get to opt out. Now, she gets to arbitrarily opt out. The law says she gets the right to opt out and that she can go to court and victimize you. And you have no recourse. Nobody's been screaming about that since 1975. No one's been screaming about that since Roe v. Wade. No one's been yelling about that. And yet when I sit here and tell you, by the way, isn't that a power dynamic? I'll be damned. I'll be damned. I want the fellas to understand something here tonight. You've got to be some kind of worldwide jackass if you're sitting up here in my chat room still trying to extol the virtues of chivalry. I would tell you to man up, but first you have to know what a man is. We've been playing by rules. Ain't nobody playing by no rules out here, man. They're just making this stuff off the top of their damn head. They just freestyling off the top of the dome. And you sitting up here talking about, Diddy should have did things differently. You can't find a single female anywhere that Diddy can't show you a decade-long trail of literal receipts. And now, because things didn't go the way that they wanted it to, now they're saying, we want the law to say any of our exes, we want to be able to sue them for all the things we voluntarily did while we were with them. If they leave us behind, we want you to give us a law that says that the things we voluntarily did, that's illegal. I don't have to take responsibility for that. That's illegal now. Yeah, it was voluntary when I did it, but it's illegal now. I want to say it's illegal now. Well, how long was it illegal? I was there for a decade. A decade? You didn't know what you were doing for a decade? I was under pressure. 10 years of pressure? Was it 10 years a slave? What the hell is this? Fellas, if this were fair and equitable, if we're supposed to condemn Diddy, then will someone explain to me why the hell we don't have something similar for paternity fraud and abortion? What the hell, dudes? If Diddy is a villain, what the hell are they? What the hell are they? That's the thing I want you to understand. As men, you got screwed up logic today. Who is standing up for men's right to abuse other people? I said it. What? Because I'm showing you laws that say that it is legal for a woman to walk into a court of law and lie through her teeth and abuse you. And the system is like, yeah, we're going to defend her. Okay. I don't play this damn mess about folks get to target you and you got to sit there and take it. Get the hell out of here with that. You know where I stand on that. If we cannot all be equally comfortable, then we can all be equally uncomfortable. If we cannot all have equal justice, then we should all have equal injustice. And so right now you have a situation where guys will be sitting in this damn chat room, they'll be sitting on my phone, acknowledging that we live in a system of injustice that's targeting men, and then he'll say, well, yeah, but we gotta sit there and take it though, Jason. That's really it now. We just gotta deal with it. There's not a single man in here who can jump back up and say, well, I didn't mean to have the baby with the girl. And even if you say it while she's pregnant, they don't let you walk that backwards. They don't let you walk that backwards. You got to hold that. If you're a man, you got to hold that. I thought we were all adults. So women have full cognizance and mental powers. They can be 14 years old wanting abortion. She knows what she wants to do with her body. And yet she can be 30 damn years old, flying around the world for a decade, laying up and sucking and everything else on random men. And now, she didn't know what she was doing. Why, she was as a man, you have her under your control. What the hell? There's no such damn animal. If you all agree that if we cannot be all be equally comfortable, then damn it, we can all be equally uncomfortable. Give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's 2,000 people in here live in just the first 15 minutes. And I'm hoping we can go ahead and have a full program here today. By the way, the PayPal is back active again. For those of you who wish to contribute on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo, for the business at least, all of our payment portals are open and available here on the business. So those are available. So if you want to avail yourself to that, the PayPal is back active again. Show your man some love. Since the PayPal is back active, they've been hating on us now. They've been hating on us now for over a week. So why don't we go ahead and show them something? You really want to do something? Show them some love on PayPal here tonight and handle the business. No, I'm not backing down from it. No, I'm not backing down from it a bit here. Who the hell told you all that those were supposed to be the rules? That as men, we can sit up here and take a look at blatant injustice being done against us. It's in the laws now that it's okay to accuse a man. He can be guilty. Hell, they can be sitting there in the court knowing it's wrong. Well, we're just going to go ahead and do this anyway. And I'm supposed to be mad at Diddy? Mad at Diddy for what? Exercising power, wealth, and influence? With a consenting female who told herself that she was going to dance off into the sunset. These will be the same group of hoes. Jason, did you say hoes? I sure did.
And deal with it, nigga.
This will be the same group of hoes who will sit up here and mock you and laugh at you and tell you that if she was a foodie call and if you paid $500 for a meal on a date, well, nigga, you just ass out. That's what they would tell you. And that's what they've been saying. Well, if you was dumb enough to pay for a date, if you was dumb enough to court her, well, whatever you spent, that's just what you out of. You don't get to sit up here and say that you were financially sex trafficked. Fellas, I'm telling you the terms. You don't get to say that you were financially sex trafficked, that she led you on, that you were under her control. You don't get to say that. You don't get to say that you are being emotionally, financially abused. When do you get to say that one? Because women walk into court and say that you were emotionally, financially abusing her. Well, okay, when do you get to claim that? They tell you ass sit your ass down. You're a guy. You know what you're doing. You asked for it. So with the women, if something happens to them sexually or financially, they're victims. If you're a man, you asked for it. Nobody forced you to do it. Nobody made you do it. Cassie was perfectly fine with the situation until she realized 10 years later, Diddy was no closer to keeping her than he was 10 years prior, and what it was all it was gonna be. Then she went off and married this dude and told herself, I can walk off into the sunset, and then woke up one day and realized old boy found out how many bodies she got, how many random men she laid up with. He knows damn well doing that for a decade is not an accident. Fellas, how many of you, if your girlfriend told you that she had been laying up with Lil Wayne and all of his boyfriends and girlfriends for a decade, and she told you, yeah, but I was scared to lose my record deal, so I was just stuck under his control, how many of you would be sitting up here saying, well, Jason, it happened like that. He was an influential man. She couldn't help it, Jason. How many of you would be sitting up here saying that? If you're a guy who would say that, give me the thumbs up emoji. If you would say, well, Jason, I can understand that my female was laying up with a random man for a decade just to keep a record deal. Jason, that they just had control over her. Give me the thumbs up emoji if you're the simp ass nigga who agrees with that. I had to sit up here and go through that lawsuit so I could decipher it for you to let you know, by the way, there's holes in this damn thing. This lawsuit is worded in such a way to confuse you into thinking that her first time doing drugs was with Diddy, and that's not actually what the lawsuit says, but it's worded in such a way to deceive you. There's a reason why you see this caravan of females that I'm showing you all with Sean Puffy Combs on your screen. There is not a single female on planet Earth since Jennifer Lopez who did not know what the deal with Sean Combs is. Not a single one. Everybody knows the deal with him. Everybody knows what it is. Everyone knows what his get down is. If your chick is stepping out of a hotel room with P. Diddy, and I mean he's still in the hotel room and she walking out at 2 a.m, you know what your broad is about. Let's stop the bull jive. You know what your chick is about. And every single one of these females I showed you on this screen, they all came tiptoeing out the bedroom with Diddy. You didn't walk in there not knowing what the deal was. You knew what it was from day one. And the only one of them who ain't angry as hell about it is Lori Harvey, because she was like, well, it got my fame up. She's still chasing the bag. Cassie, she caught the bag and the bag is empty. And as a man, you are every type of stupid there is if you're condemning Diddy. I said it. There's a bunch of fellas in here listening to me right now. I have a large audience of men who make over 6 figures. I have a large audience of men who make over 6 figures. And that might be working class in New York City, but you doing good in most mid-sized cities. Cassie did not get pregnant by Sean Combs, but she came back 5 years after breaking up with him. 5 years after breaking up with him. Well, 4 years after breaking up with him. 4 years. 48 months. 4 years later, claiming he owes me. He owes me money. That's what she was suing for. She wasn't suing for jail. She wasn't trying to press no charges. That's how you know it's a damn scam. 4 years later, I'm stuck with one of your damn backup dancers. Yeah, I need some money. I need some bread. You say you're going to give us back our publishing if we sign an NDA. I already signed an NDA. There ain't no money to be gotten from the publishing. Let me see if I can pat them pockets down with this bogus-ass lawsuit. And a lot of you fellas are sitting up here telling yourselves, well, I'm so glad I'm not like him. What you really mean is you're sure glad you're not a financial success to that degree, but you have to understand that being a, quote, financial success is a subjective term. Look it up. Being a financial success depends on who you are asking. And if you are a black male today in Augusta, Georgia, in Decatur, in Fort Lauderdale, in Charlotte, in Memphis, in Irving, Texas, if you are a black male making $150,000 a year and you got some chick you used to lay up with 4 years ago, she was slick at the mouth, she was a disciplinary problem, she wasn't going to get with the program, and you had to cut her loose and cut her from the team, or she decided, I can go do better, and you just like, okay, we're going to go see if you can do better. And then she goes out there and she realizes that all she's eligible for are simps and lames. She couldn't get nothing as good as you. And then she sees your star continues to rise. I got a bunch of you fellas in here right now. You've been to medical school. You've been to engineering school. You've been to IT school. Some of you are owner-operators in the trucking industry. Your money is coming up. Your money is good. Don't you know that that hoe is still out there somewhere watching you? Don't you understand that? She's still out there somewhere watching you. Here is the single biggest myth that men believe, and I'm guilty of it as anybody, that your exes are not keeping an eye on you. Fellas, don't let any females online or offline deceive your dumb ass. All your exes, if you're a fella who's halfway about something, all your exes are watching you. In the era of social media, all of them are monitoring you. All of them are keeping tabs on you. Every single one of them is monitoring you and keeping tabs on you. They want to know how this story ends. You can sit up here and deceive yourself into thinking that they don't. Yes, they do. Because they want to make sure that you ended up losing. That's the only way that they can make peace with the way things were. If they find out that you were losing, but if you keep on going and keep on trucking and keep on winning, man, don't you know they're like, hey, we got to go even these odds out. Oh no, we can't let this go. We got to go even these odds out. Jason, what do you mean? Some of you fellas don't want to hear or see these things, but you got to understand what it's about. That chart right there tells you every damn thing you need to know. I've been keeping up with this for you all so that you don't necessarily have to. But this chart right here tells you everything that you need to know from the Social Security Administration about women's median income. You take a look at these numbers. If you're a man making $100,000 a year, your chick is in her late 20s all the way to her 50s, dude, you making $150,000 a year, you making 3 times as much as she gonna get. And there's no way out. There's no way out. When she peaks, that's it. Game over. You think she wants to hear that she's making $50,000 a year with 3-4 bastard kids, and you done set up here flying high and going off in the sunset? You've got your 6.5 figures there, and you've got your pick of the litter of females half her age. Do you think she gonna let you just walk if she's got any way of being able to settle the score? Some of you fellas are criminally naive, but then again, some of you've already planned. Well, Jason, I'm just going to be a bum-ass nigga the rest of my life, so I ain't got to worry about that. Okay, but for the rest of us who ain't going to be walking in your shoes, and we have a little bit higher ambition than you, it's going to be different. Folks not liking the program here tonight. I guess it's a shame. I guess I'm hurting feelings. But folks, my likes are low tonight. They don't like the programs. Jason, you got to hit him right there. Yeah, I got to hit him right there. Somebody's got to tell the damn truth about this. A lot of you fellas are more successful, quote, successful than you think you are. If you was laying up with some broad who worked at Costco making $40,000 a year because she thought that $15 an hour was going to make her a 6-figure woman, and she didn't actually do the math to find out how little $15 an hour will make you in a year, and then she finds out, oh, hell, I didn't know that nigga was actually making $100, $150, $200, $250,000 a year. And he's walked off. He been laying up with me for a month, a year, whatever. Oh, this nigga owe me. A bunch of you fellas do not realize that in women's eyes, oh, man, I'm about to get in trouble tonight. Ice-T once said that in the eyes of white America, black people are all just one big nigga. You are not an individual. You're all just one big nigga. Well, fellas, when it comes to the world of success, you are all one big player. You're all one big baller. From the guy who makes $150,000 a year to the black man who makes $150 million a year. You're all the same. Ladies, I got to read your mail. When you all get bitter and vindictive, this is the reason why once a female hits her late 20s, you can't do nothing with this. When we talk about baggage, every relationship she gets into, she's looking to settle the score. She looks at every man as being, well, you're just like the others. If you're a man who is successful, you are all one big player. You're all one big baller. That's it. That's all. Far as she's concerned, your $150,000 a year is the equivalent of that $150 million a year. She is not going to be less bitter towards you than she is toward Diddy. If you can get it. Any fella in here who's ever had a single mother try to approach them. You heard them say things like, well, if you're a single male with no kids, you should be happy to take care of her and her kids. How many fellas in here have had a single mother sit up here and approach you, and when you told her, yeah, I ain't got no kids, I ain't really looking to get, buried up under all that, and she sat up here and told you, you should be happy paying for somebody's kids, keeping all that money for yourself? Give me the thumbs up emoji in the chat room, fellas, if that's happened to you. Maybe that's just been me, but if that's happened to you, give me the thumbs up emoji in the chat room. If you've had some chick tell you, well, you gonna just spend all that money on yourself. You should be happy to be able to spend it on me and my kids. You just gonna spend it all on yourself. Take a look in that chat room. This is par for the course. This is typical. This is standard operating procedure. They tell us that fellas, that ain't no damn idle threat. That's a real threat. That is a concrete physical threat. D. Tubman, you done had women tell you should take care of their kids? I was asking for the fellas. D. Tubman put up thumb emojis. Baby, I hope you ain't trying to break news tonight. I asked for the fellas, but I hope she ain't trying to break no news. But in any case, fellas, that's not a joke. She means that. When she told you, hey, I got a right to your money, I'm not even dating you. I just met you. I just struck up a conversation with you. She's already scheming for how she can get that she is entitled to what you got. She's entitled to it. That's not an idle threat, fellas. To the men, listen, that's not an idle threat. Those are the rules of engagement today. What the hell I'm gonna be mad at P. Diddy for? Cardi B was doing interviews laughing about talking about she was drugging men and taking their money when she was a stripper. So she gets to laugh that off, and that's not a sex crime? If some fellas came forward today and said, hey, she did that to me, and I'm not hoping anybody does, but I'm just saying, by the way, she said that, she didn't get the P. Diddy treatment. Some of you fellas need to pull your heads out your damn rumps. She didn't get the P. Diddy treatment, and there was no huge Me Too outcry from female society demanding that she be brought to justice, demanding that her victims step forward. You didn't have the governor of New York or New Jersey holding a press conference doing a Jussie Smollett demanding that the victims of Cardi B come forward. Now be damned if they're not doing that for P. Diddy, if they didn't do that for Bill Cosby. They all over the damn place. If you ever was in a taxi cab alone with Bill Cosby, call the law officers of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Okay, but there ain't nobody peeking over Cardi B's records, Meg Thee Stallion's records, Lil' Kim's records, Nicki Minaj's records. Nobody's looking through that. But you're sitting up here jumping like a damn jackrabbit when they tell you to leap because they told you, ooh, take a look at what P. Diddy did. Somebody explain to me, what did P. Diddy do that was any different from the average female in New York City today? What? I said it. Tell me, what did P. Diddy do that is any different from the average female in New York City today, the average female in Miami today, the average female in Atlanta today, the average female in DC today, the average female in Los Angeles today? What did he do that was any different? What? And how big of a dumbass do you have to be? A 25-year-old, how many 25-year-olds do you all know today? 25-year-olds hanging out with your favorite rapper today who ain't getting stretched out tonight as we speak. So you just gonna let her walk up to you? Oh, Lil Wayne and them, they've been making me freak off now for a year and I just feel so trapped. Didn't you just leave the hotel room? Yeah, but if he calls me back, remember, I'm trapped. What did he do that the rest of them ain't doing? How is his attitude or his behavior towards them one bit different than what they're doing to the men today? The females today will tell you they got a right to cheat on you. They have a right to, you take them to dinner, they take your money, and oh well, bye. They have a right to take your money and ghost you. And oh well, all's fair in love and war. See, as a man, do you get to sue to get your simp phase back? As a man, do you get to sue to get your simp phase back? Because they want to sue now to get their hoe phase back. I didn't like those years I was hoeing. I want to get those years. I want to get compensation for all those years that I was hoeing for you. Okay, do men get to get compensation for all the years they were simping for her? Who is standing up for men's right to get compensation for all the years you were simping for her? So many of you fellas out here, you've been brainwashed that you think with an effeminized mindset. You're coming to the table thinking like the hoes who victimize you. A lot of you just have a masochistic streak. You're getting abused. You're like, yeah, you're just getting abused. Man. That's just the way it go, man. That's just the way it go. These chicks are sitting up here bragging. Because they regret that Diddy just walked off and he was like, you know what? You want to go with old Alex? You and him, y'all have a good time over there. Do your thing. I already got my mileage out of you. Yeah, I hope he has a good time taking care of my leftovers. Oh, fellas, no. We're going to have to go evil with it here tonight. Damn. Oh, I said it. We're going to have to go evil with it tonight. Fellas, don't you understand? Women will lie to your damn face to get you to marry them. They'll lie to your face to get a relationship. Ladies, I gotta read the mail. Can we just keep it real? Women will lie to you to get their rent paid, to get their car note paid. She will look you square in your damn face and tell you I never had an abortion. I've only slept with 3 men in my whole life. I'm a virgin. She will tell you anything. Now, isn't that sexual assault if she lies to you about what her sexual condition is? Because according to Cassie, if Diddy don't want to marry you and keep you, well, she should get $30 million for that. Fellas, they ain't got no mercy about that. A woman has no problem sitting up here telling you, oh, well, when the relationship over, well, you just make it however you make it. If you spent up all your money, if you lost your job, if you lost your car, if you alienated your family, if you got STDs, the women are like, oh, well. Hope you can make it with the new girl. Oh, well. And I'm telling the fellas, okay, if those are the rules of engagement, if this is what we doing, then how the hell you sitting over here condemning Diddy and talking all super simp stupid? This is what the women are doing right now. In the chat room, you're damn right. Maury Povich made a damn 20-year career out of women lying on men and saying, oh, well. And what I mean is that he had a bunch of chicks. They had to bring them hoes back to that show 3, 4, 5 different times. She kept deliberately fingering the wrong person as the daddy 5 different times. And that's common. There's a bunch of men listening to me right now that you have somebody in your family, you have a relative, you have a friend, hell, maybe even you. And you know damn well them kids are not his. That chick is sitting next to you with that man, but those kids are not his. And she ain't saying a damn word, and the court system and the laws and the legal system aren't doing a damn thing to protect you. So if she can get over on you, as long as you, quote, consent to half of it, if she can get over on you, that's fair game. I'm supposed to be mad at Diddy because he was able to get over on him? That he used his swag and his fame and he was stringing them along for a decade. Women string men along every damn day. Women string men along to get their tires changed on the side of the freeway. Women string men along to get their furniture moved. Women string men along on their birthdays to get extra dollars, lying their asses off because it's not her birthday. Women string men along to the point that we have a term for it. Women string men along so badly, so often, we have a term for it. Friend zone. There isn't a single female on planet Earth who thinks that a single heterosexual male is her, quote, friend. But she keeps him around because she needs somebody to move her refrigerator, somebody to give her free automotive repairs, somebody to help her move when she gets her ass evicted, somebody she can bum money off of. And then you sitting up here giving her cash money and she compensates you with a pat on the head. Oh, you're such a cool guy. You're so great. You're so wonderful. I wish there were more men like you. Oh, no, I would never date you. No, but I wish there were more men like you. I wish more guys were like you and they would just help a woman out. They would just help a woman out. All these men want is just sex. I'm so glad I have a friend like you because all these men, all they want is just sex. You sitting there like, yeah, well, that's her true convictions. That's what she truly believes. Let me go ahead and throw my damn back out, picking up this damn refrigerator by my damn self so I can prove to her that I'm, quote unquote, not like the rest of them. Then you took a look through the hell of social media. Then you took a look through her DMs and you were like, hey, wait a minute. You over there throwing it and bumping it for the exact same fella that you was telling me that, that you're so glad I'm better than him. Yeah, the guy she told you that you're better than him, he's not over there helping to move her refrigerator, helping to move her stove, helping to rearrange her furniture, throwing something on the bills. He ain't doing none of that. You sitting up here hoping and begging that friend zone talk is going to translate to somewhere else. Meanwhile, the fella she said that you're better than, she giving him much better treatment than you. And I'm supposed to be mad at Diddy because Diddy was stringing them along? And females today have whole Facebook groups where they tell each other how to fake a pregnancy test? So if men even talk about sleeping with more than one woman, that can be misogynistic. Meanwhile, the females can have whole Facebook groups talking about educating each other and training each other on the finer points of paternity fraud. Do you understand that abusing men today and destroying men today has been so trivialized that you can have whole Facebook groups cheerleading you and mentoring you and practicing maternity fraud? Practicing paternity fraud. And that's fair game. That's fair game. I'm supposed to be mad at Diddy for what? I'm supposed to be upset with him for what? Because he's playing by the same rules they playing by? Because he wasn't willing to sit up here and act like she was some virgin angel? Diddy knew what the hell she was and she knew what the hell she was. So Diddy's wrong because he didn't pretend she was of higher value than she was? He didn't try to treat her like she was sacred? How many of you fellas in here, let's go ahead and get to the damn truth tonight. I want you to put up the dove emoji. I'm talking about the white bird. Fellas, can you say it for a moment here? Can you be honest for a moment for just one night? Can the truth have its day or its evening? Fellas, give me the dove emoji, the white bird emoji. I'm saying if you had a relationship with a female that you thought she was pure, you thought she was innocent, you thought she wasn't like the rest of them, she wore glasses, she didn't listen to all that rock music or rap music and R. Kelly. Why, she's better than the rest of them. And then you found out she was quadruple X freaky run through. She got 20 niggas in the DMs with her quiet, little pure looking self. While you sitting up here, she doesn't dress like the rest of them. Why, she wears dresses that go down below her knees. Why, she's got glasses. Why, she talks articulate. Why, she doesn't even have any female friends. There's a big ass red flag for you right there, fellas. A woman who doesn't have any female friends is a chick who only got dudes to lay up with her. That's because she don't like females around because she can't get nothing from them. How many of you fellas sat up here and had a chick and you gonna treat her like she pure? You thought she was pure and then later you found out. I'll be damned. She been perpetrating the fraud the whole damn time. She didn't get run through. She got run by and run over. But she's sitting with you giving you the polypurebred speech. Or should I say just letting you believe it? Just letting you believe it. Some fellas need to think. Many of you need to think. You got them demonizing Diddy for what? Because he got the female to roll with his program? And when it was over, she was left empty-handed? Men are left empty-handed in relationships every damn day. Men get emasculated in relationships every damn day. It's the norm now. But Diddy is a villain? A villain for what? She made every single one of those decisions with her eyes wide open. How many of y'all in here think that Cassie's only threesome or foursome was with Diddy? Because do you notice her court papers didn't say that? Now, the court papers tried to make it seem like the first time she tried drugs was with Diddy, and that's not actually what the papers say. How many of you are just assuming, well, she never did nothing like that before Diddy? First of all, what Diddy did with her was not a crime. Tell me how it was a crime. But second of all, do you really believe that this chick who sat up here and threw it down for Diddy on the first damn date, that she never had a foursome before, that she's never been in a room with two men and she was the only thing for dinner? How many of you actually believe that? That Cassie has never been in a hotel room or a place alone with two or three other men and she was dessert? How many of you really believe that she just jumped up at the age of 22 and then is having threesomes and foursomes with random men? She just jumped up. Oh, well. It matters because if you're going to try to make it seem like somebody introduced you to that life and that they didn't introduce you to nothing, they knew that's your get down. You told them that's the get down, and they just went ahead and utilized you for what you're for. You can't claim to be innocent when you got a long-ass rap sheet. If she wanted to leave, she had a hotel door key. That's why it matters. That's why it matters. Some of them in the chat room are upset. Some of you hoes. Hello, BB Scott. Some of you hoes who got run through, it really offends you to hear some men telling you the unadulterated, unfiltered truth for once. Baby, BB, if that's you, baby, you got to hold that L. Jason, you lost me as a sub, baby. You need to lose that body count. See if you can lose that. What? Don't worry about me keeping you as a sub. See if you can keep that body count lower. See if you can keep that. You're worried about the wrong thing. I'm not worried about you being a sub. You need to worry about them STDs and that body count. That's what you need to worry about. Don't worry about my subscriber count. You worry about your body count. You worry about that video on Pornhub and hope that nobody ever matches up that video to your face. That's what you need to be concerned about. right there. You're not going to shame us into defending your hoe phase, baby. This is a place here we don't shame hoes, but you got to hold what you are and just be what you're going to be. Don't get mad now. Just because somebody went to X Hamster or X Video and you scared to death is somebody going to be able to match that face with them butt cheeks. Just because you worried about that. Because can we just keep it real, y'all? 90% of the females in this chat room right now, there's footage of you somewhere. Let's just keep it all the way real. Since the smartphone era, what are we, 14 years out now? 90% of the females in here, 9 out of 10, there is 4K high-res lit footage of you with a dude making it bump like it's gonna bump. For a bunch of you, you got so many videos you could start a damn library with a different nigga. Hey, I ain't judging you. I'm just saying don't sit up here and try to point at the one man who just said, hey, this is what you are, this is what it's gonna be. Don't get mad at him. No, not on no VCR nowhere, dude. On multiple SD cards. On multiple SD cards. I'm talking about in the digital age. You ain't even got to go to one of those places to convert it from VHS to digital. You can just go straight from your phone. There she is. Bam, right there. Now they think they're going to jump in my chat room here. Y'all men need to stop talking about that. Y'all need to quit calling it what it is. Don't do that. So the men got to hold every L they come into contact with. But BB, the butt-shaking Scott, she ain't got to hold her L's. Baby, you better hold this damn thing. You better hold this hoe phase around your neck like Flavor Flav's clock. BB bust down, you got to hold this L. Baby, you dry snitching on yourself. You and that other heifer, you two are dry snitching on yourselves. Y'all feel some kind of way about your hoe phase. You thought that nigga was going to march you off into the sunset. How many dudes got with you? Remember, fellas, women end 90% of relationships. 90% of relationships are ended by women. Women make you all kinds of promises, all kinds of guarantees, all kinds of false assurances. Y'all make men all kinds of false, phony, lying assurances every day. Then he gets up one morning and you're like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want a relationship anymore. And he got to just hold that L. Ain't no Judge Wapner for him. He just got to hold it. Everybody tells him he just got to be okay with it. 9 out of 10 relationships are ended by women. 9 out of 10, 90%. And yet you're telling the men that we got to give up more. We need to just sit there and wait till you're done. All the money he pays, just understand something. He's paying for dates, bills, God help him if y'all got kids. And then she jumps up one day, well, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, and when did she decide that? Oh, I decided that months ago. So in other words, the whole time that she's still with you for probably the last 3, 4, 6 months, a year, some of y'all 2 or 3 years, she had already exited the relationship emotionally and psychologically, and you're still sitting there paying bills, paying for trips, paying for vacations, paying for clothes. You still sitting there doing that, but it's wrong if Diddy does it. So it's wrong if Diddy does it. If Diddy is like, hey, you a bust down hoe, let me make this entertaining. Let me bring in 3 niggas and a ringmaster. Let's turn this into damn me Barnum and Bailey. Let's do that. So Diddy is wrong for doing that. Meanwhile, Jerry Springer and Maury Povich. Meanwhile, that's what we got to live with otherwise. But Diddy is wrong. Diddy is wrong for what? The females are out here trying to exercise their sexual power every day. You can't escape it. We've got multiple websites now. The females, the only thing they want to do, shake their butt cheeks and flaunt their sexuality. Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Snapchat, OnlyFans, TikTok, everywhere you go. When the women show up, there is no high-minded intellectual conversation. There is no sisterly bonding. The females from every strata of society, it's straight to showing them butt cheeks and breastises. That's what it goes straight to. They are trying to use their sexual power. Okay, that's fair game for them to use their sexual power, but it's foul for Diddy to use his. So she can swing her butt cheeks and lead you on. Folks, you understand, that's how OnlyFans is powered. That's how Twitch is powered, by females leading guys on. They're leading these fellas on to get them allured. That's being under somebody's control. So it's okay for the women to make a whole multi-billion-dollar industry of leading men on OnlyFans, leading them on Twitch, leading them on the DMs, leading them on everywhere you go. They can become millionaires at it, but it's wrong for Diddy. So a man being exploited by the women, that's fair game for her entertainment. But Diddy is like, well, you know what? Use a hoe like that to begin with here. Let me bring in some niggas to make this entertaining for me. That's foul. You can't do that. You can't do that. Some of you fellas in here, you think like the hoes who hate you. Let me just make that clear. You don't even think like the females who like you. You don't even identify with them. You're in my chat room identifying with the ones who hate you. You're identifying with the females who hate your ass. I guess that tells us what your mama is about then, if you're comfortable and defensive of females who hate you. Females who are defending their right to exploit you. But let's be clear about what that is. We live in the simp era. We live in the beta simp era. And a bunch of these fellas out here, they are so weak, so Xbox demented and conditioned. Friend zoning is the only way they can deal with a female. They're waiting for the female to call him over like a puppy. So he's like, whatever make the females happy, whatever make them smile, that's what we go for. Then when the females lay up with the fella who lays down the law for her, those same beta simps will be calling all you chicks hoes. That's the reason why the females aren't really sounding off tonight, co-signing you simp niggas. The females aren't signing off tonight because women understand the most dangerous and deceitful male in the world is a beta ass simp. He is the most dangerous in the world because they know full well he thinks he's being slick. He's not being nice. The most dangerous dude in the world is Mr. Nice Guy. Because there are no Mr. Nice Guys, just like there are no good girls. Mr. Nice Guy thinks that he's found a better mousetrap and a better strategy, and Mr. Nice Guy feels entitled to sex from you. Every female in here knows it. That's why they would rather hang out with a real nigga that's just gonna put it on the bricks and say it like it is. Mr. Nice Guy at her job, Mr. Friend Zone, she knows that one day that dude's gonna snap. One day he's going to drop the facade, he's going to drop the face, he's going to drop the mask, he's going to drop the charade, and when she doesn't give him what he wants, and if she sees, when he finally sees her giving sexual attention to a guy that he told himself that he was better than, that's when he's going to snap, and that's when he's going to cuss you the hell out and call you every hoe and slut in the book and tell you what he really thinks. Totally different from what he was pretending to be that whole time. And every female in here, every female knows this. That's why they sitting up being quiet right now, but they know it's the damn truth. That's why the women don't trust Mr. Nice Guy. Because they know Mr. Nice Guy is a damn phony. And they know it. They use him to get their furniture moved. And then they're like, well, let me just trick off as much. Let me get this fool to trick off as much as I can get him to take. because it's only a matter of time before the other shoe drops and he says what he really thinks. Just like a female believes that she is entitled to a man's money and productivity, simply on the fact that she opened her legs, a female believes that she is entitled to benefits from you simply because she's been opening her legs. If she's had a 4-year relationship with you, she believes that she is entitled to 4 years worth of resources for no other reason than the fact she was opening her legs to you. Women understand that that's exactly the way that betas are. Betas believe that they are entitled to you, that you owe him some sex on account of the fact that he's Mr. Nice Guy. So if he's been nice to you, heifer, you owe me some sex. You owe me some on account of the fact that I'm one of the nice guys and I have blessed you to be nice to you. I don't treat you the way those other fellas do. You owe me some draws. And every woman in here is laughing because every one of them knows I'm telling the damn truth. Put it on the bricks, ladies. If I'm telling the truth about Mr. Nice Guy, give me the diamond emoji in the chat room. Just tell the truth one time. I ain't gonna make you do it again. Not gonna make you do it again. But ladies, can you just tell the truth just one time? You all don't like Mr. Nice Guy because you know that Mr. Nice Guy is a fraud and that he's only being, quote, nice because he thinks that you owe him some sex because he was, quote, nice to you. He's walking around right now thinking that he has an IOU for some sex in his back pocket and that one day he's going to get to approach you and cash that IOU in. And that you going to suddenly flip and be a triple X-rated porn star for him. Ladies, can we let the truth just have his day for just a moment? Throw that diamond emoji up if you know full well Mr. Nice Guy thinks that he... Chris, nigga... Chris better be short for Christine because if Chris is a dude, hey, bruh, we don't need you coming out on tonight's program. Wait till next week. Wait till next week, bruh. Yeah, Chris wants to tell us something tonight. Wait till next week, bruh. Not tonight. Not tonight. He was like, oh, me? No, not you. Not tonight. I want to get this off my chest. Wait till next week. I've been holding in for years. Well, just, bro, if you can hold it in for a few more days, you're disrupting the program. You're disrupting the program tonight. Oh, man. No, fellas, I meant what the hell I said. People, I meant what the hell I said here. I'm not saying I condemn Diddy. I'm saying, why are you asking me to? What is he doing I got to condemn him for? He ain't fighting fair. I'll be damned. Who the hell fighting fair with us? You got whole laws that say that it's legal for a woman to accuse you of being the father of a child, even if you never met the woman. And we're going to assume you need to pay child support first. What the hell? That's fighting fair? That's fair and equitable? No law for you. A lot of you dudes are institutionalized. And proud to be so. I'm just telling the truth tonight. Men should think before they condemn Diddy. Why are they hating Diddy? They hating him because he did something wrong? What was it that he did wrong? He exercised his power, wealth, and influence. That he got females to treat him the way that females usually get men to treat them? What? Is that the crime that he committed? That he was able to get females to trick and treat him the way that they usually get men to treat them. I suggest to you that that's what it really is. That they're looking at him and they're like, hey, you supposed to be a rich dude who's tricking off and stupid in the game. And he's like, hey, baby, y'all hoes ain't playing by no rules. I'm just like, hey, y'all playing by the rule of get me before I get you. Well, I got you. I got you first. I got you first. Because, fellas, the females got no mercy. If they get you first, man, they're like, hey, nigga, that's it. It came up snake eyes for you. If she got you first, if you found out she was cheating, if you found out the football team ran through, if you found out she aborted the baby, or if you found out the baby wasn't yours, if you found out that she got 4 niggas paying for, she's gone to dinner this week with 4 different dudes. She's gone to dinner with 4 different men. All of my fellas who've been to college, you done been through that. You got a chick who done been to dinner this week with 4 different dudes. Sitting here telling, now she's 40 years old, ragged out and run through telling you Diddy is wrong. Diddy wrong for that? Was she wrong for what she did to you? So Diddy's wrong for that, but she can eat and live rent-free, and that's legit. That's okay. And we're supposed to sit up here and girl power that, and oh, well, that's the rules of the game. Okay, well, if those are the rules, damn it, let them be the rules. If those are the rules, then let those be the damn rules. That's all I'm saying. If those are the rules, cool. Then those need to be the rules for everybody. Don't think you're going to jerk my leash. Yeah, I said it. Yes, I'm standing on it. Men should think before they condemn Diddy. Fellas, right now, I guarantee you, if you're a fella who makes over $150,000 a year, there's a female that you laid up with somewhere who is counting to check and see how high that goes. And she is thinking tonight and contemplating tonight whether or not it is worth it to come after you. If somebody can give her an opening, she is contemplating whether or not it's worth it for her to come after you. That's what she's doing. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the program all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. This is the one. Just a brief reminder here to everybody here. They have been messing with my PayPal for the past couple of weeks here. They've been messing with my PayPal here on the business for the last week. We got on their butts about it here, so my PayPal is back open here. So if you want to celebrate here, throw your boy a little something. Throw a little something on the PayPal so we can celebrate it going back working again here tonight. But I want to thank all of you here for joining us for tonight's program. Thank you very much to everyone who has contributed by PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Let me send a shout out here to WayHep31. Jason Hit Dogs Holla, don't get mad at the truth. Your whole phase never paid off. Now you're mad. Serenity, thank you very much for contributing tonight. Clyde FBA Green and everybody else here who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much for your support. If you have been instructed by my moderators to call in, that is not just a nifty suggestion, that's an order. If you've been disagreeing in the chat room and the mods told you have to call in, you have to call in. The telephone lines are now open. Let me go ahead and also get the Super Chat going. The Zoom going here as well. We're going to go ahead and get the Zoom going here as well. Remember that we do give priority to Zoom. However, just remember that you do have to have your camera and your microphone on to use Zoom. That's all we ask. We do give priority if you're calling on Zoom. So if you're calling on Zoom, you get bumped to the front of the line to respond. All we ask is to make sure that you do have your camera and your microphone on when you do. Let's go ahead and get over here to the telephone lines. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Caller from area code 401. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, how you doing? My name is Devon. I'm calling from Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
All right, Devon, calling from where?
Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
All right, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. And what's on your mind?
All right, so your mod was instructing me to call in. So it's not that I disagree with what you're saying, because I fully I agree. Like, women shouldn't be able to accuse you of sexual assault for something that happened 30 years ago. Just like, women shouldn't, like, men should be able to file a lawsuit against a woman that did paternity fraud. Like, it should go both ways. Like, and like, I think what Cassie did was wrong. I honestly agree that Cassie, was fully consenting in what she did with Diddy. Like, I agree with that. And but the only thing with me is that there's been like plenty of allegations towards Diddy for years, not just from the female side, but now you have men coming out accusing them.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Here's the real issue here. Speaking just about Cassie, because that's the only one who anybody's actually tried to press a case about. So anybody else, first of all, I don't know what women you're referring to. I didn't hear anything before that. So you're just referring to rumors. This is the only verified one you can name. This is the only verified one you can name. Now, with that being the case, and she didn't even stand behind it. She came in, his lawyer said, by the way, she's been trying to shake us down for a bag now for 6 months. She was not trying to press a criminal case. His lawyer said, man, what more do you need? How can you defend her? When he says like, hey, she was trying to shake us down for this whole time. And when we let her know, hey, by the way, that's blackmail. Then all of a sudden she's claiming it was a crime. So what I'm saying is, okay, excuse me. Fellas, come on, dudes, y'all got to be quicker than this right here. What did he do to Cassie that was illegal?
I mean, I don't think it's illegal. I just think that we live in an unfair system towards men, especially men in power. And, for a long time in history, a lot of men's downfall have been women. And that's a fact. Like, and that's why I agree with you. Like,
right. But you know what? Also throughout history, but throughout history, a lot of women found out that every man isn't a damn fool. Now that's happened through history too. And when women don't get their way, remember, a woman can't whoop your ass with her hands. She's going to see if she can get other men to gang up on you and whoop your ass instead. Well, how can she do that if she has no power and she has no honor? Well, just claim that you committed a crime against her. And there will be an army of simps who will jump up, swing first, and ask questions never.
Yep.
Now, that's as old as time. And what I'm saying is that as men, we're supposed to move slowly. We're not supposed to have no knee-jerk reactions. We're supposed to move slowly. If somebody says something, we are supposed to demand, not ask, demand all the facts. We're also supposed to demand that you stand by what you said. So if you're going to make an accusation and you're not going to give your name and face and events and everything else, nothing happened. Okay, Cassie did that. Understood. We've also taken a look at the facts by her own admission. By the way, I was his girlfriend for a decade. So you're claiming that you were being raped while you were his girlfriend? Why didn't you leave? If you claim that you were uncomfortable from day one, why didn't you leave? We've got 10 years worth of photographs and footage of you happily booed up and schmoozed up with him. This is an insult to our intelligence. You know what the truth is. You know her career never popped off. And this all only happened right after Diddy said, I'll give y'all your publishing back if you all sign an NDA. And she's in the same boat with Mark Curry. Well, your music never really sold, so giving you your publishing back does you no good because Diddy already got all the benefit of it and you are going to be stuck with a sheet of paper that is worthless. And she said, I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here with a bunch of memories of all the things y'all had me doing that I was doing because I thought you were going to, I thought I could believe Diddy when he said, if I say you hot, then you going to be hot. And it never materialized the way I thought it was. At what point do you got to hold that? You say Diddy was a pervert. I'm glad you said that, brother. Diddy's a pervert. You know what? I'll give that to you. Diddy been doing all kinds of things. I'll give that to you. And she was knowingly with him for a decade. So if he's a pervert, what does that make her?
Same thing for her as well.
Okay, then how can how can we say anything wrong or bad about him? Anything anybody accuses him of, hey, she got to be right there with him. So how is it he's the only one we name? Whatever he is, she's the Bonnie to his Clyde for a decade now. Not a month, not a year,
Mhm.
10 years in the game.
Yep, that's true, Jason. Jason, not to cut you, but look, I work a 9 to 5. She wouldn't have did all that for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? She wouldn't have did all that. I wouldn't have been able to coerce her into doing all those sexual acts. You know, so I know it's about money. I know it's about fame. It's about status. That's what it's always about. And like you said, she's just mad that she didn't get nothing on the back end. You know,
every woman believes. Come on, the ladies gotta tell the truth. Every woman thinks that sex is a down payment on future benefits. And what men need to understand is that for every year that a woman sleeps with you, she believes that she is entitled to 2 years of benefits. And more you are worth, the more years of benefits she believes she should get for every year she's been with you. So if you make $150,000, she thinks she deserves 2 or 3 years of benefits. You make $1 million, she deserves 5 to 10. You make $10 million, she deserves life. I want y'all to understand that's the mentality. So I'm going to condemn Diddy for what? For being ahead of the game?
Yeah,
she was there doing that because she thought she was going to get a lifelong commitment. She never thought she would ever have to be next to a guy like Alex Fine because P. Diddy was supposed to be her meal ticket for life. She figured after 10 years, well, me and him going right off in the sunset together, and it didn't happen. And now we got fellas out here putting the cape on, taking her side. Well, he's this, that, and the other. Okay, then what does that make every single female who has been with him? We've been talking about Diddy's sexual proclivities now for 2 decades. How did these females not know? They did know. Okay, then how the hell are you going to condemn him knowing that these are adults making these decisions with their eyes wide open?
Yep.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We're going to go ahead to go over here on Zoom. Amino, you can go ahead and make sure you have your... looks like he's using that Zimbabwe broadband. It's going kind of slow for him over here. Looks like he's using that Zimbabwe broadband. Okay, Amino, we're going to give you 5 seconds here to go ahead and turn your camera on for us here. You got 5 seconds or permanent vacation. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and get the permanent vacation button up here just in case. All right, Amino, you got 5 seconds here to go ahead and turn your camera and your microphone on. Your microphone is on and your camera is actually on, but you have not turned it on. That is not a request. Okay, Amino, permanent vacation for you. Folks, definitely you are invited to use Zoom. The only thing that we request is make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. Let me get caller from area code 916. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mbari, East Palo Alto, California.
All right, Mbari in East Palo Alto. What's on your mind?
Yeah, last time I talked to you, I was in the airport. I think, we can frame this as wrong or right. Like, yeah, women do have unfair advantages when it comes to these type of situations. But another thing that I think we need to look at is when you're an employer, don't sleep with the help. And when you got and it's also about, do you have something to lose? If you have something to lose, you got to move a certain way. And I don't think Diddy's been moving like a man who has something to lose.
Okay, let's go ahead and deal with that first thing there. You called Cassie an employee. Why?
I mean, if she was working under his label, then that's like an employee.
No, sir.
So,
that is not, quote, like an employee. Do you know what the definition of do you know what the definition of an employee is?
She may be a 1099.
Okay, sir, the Department of Labor, the Department of Labor literally has a definition for an employee. Did you know that?
Yeah, you are correct.
Okay, the Department of Labor literally has a definition for an employee, contract employee, or entrepreneur self-employed. This might be news to you. I think I'm breaking news to you tonight because you just called her an employee under a record label, and you'd have to tell us the capacity under which she was.
Yeah, I mean, well, I can stand corrected as an employee designation.
Okay, thank you, sir. Because she said that in her lawsuit as well, and folks just sitting up here repeating that lie instead of saying, by the way, what part of being signed to a record label makes you an employee? Because an employee is entitled to guaranteed wages for hours worked.
Correct. So, like I said, I can stand corrected with that. But what I mean is that when you are in that position, I have a entertainment company, well known amongst many celebrities, and I distance myself from certain people for these kind of reasons. And I have nothing close to what Puffy got. So it's also about, like, what do you have to lose? And if you use your power and influence in the wrong way, it can cost you. We are at war as black men.
Okay, but tell me, how does a man, quote, misuse his power and influence? How do you do that?
Well, I mean, a lot of people who get power influence get egotistical. They get narcissistic sometimes. And when they begin to act a certain way, do that the way that he's doing out here, I mean, he's not just abusing women. He got other people that's contractually obligated to his company.
Explain to you. First, you did this before about she an employee. Explain. Now you're talking about he's abusing women. Explain to me how he abused Cassie.
Well, I'm not saying he actually did or didn't. I wasn't there.
Wow, you literally just said, right, quote, he's out here abusing women. You literally just said that verbatim.
Yeah, I wasn't talking in particular. Okay, let me straighten that out. What I mean is, when you are moving your power and influence in a way that can come back and get you, like Puffy's been doing throughout this music industry, which is very well known within the industry, you set yourself up as a black man of power and influence.
Sir, then explain to me how a man uses power and influence in any way that cannot be held against him.
How he uses it? I mean, if he uses it in a positive way, then yeah, someone could try to twist it, but at the end of the day, you leave them way less leverage.
Okay, no. That was not what you were asked. That was not what you were asked. That was not what you were asked, sir. Sir, no, sir, no. That is not what you were asked, and that is not. Boy, I'm telling you, he has to back up and rewrite everything he says. That's just show you don't really have a point you can defend, sir. Tell me how a man can use power and influence in a way that will not be held against him. Second try.
In a way that will not be held against them. Basically, like if you're doing positive stuff, like for example, I do a lot of stuff in the community. It has to date, it has not been held against me.
I didn't say that. No. I didn't say was it held against you. And first of all, you haven't told us what the quote. You haven't told us how you said if you use it positively, sir. I think what you're about to describe is not
positively.
I think what you're about, to, sir. We don't talk like over the host. What you're about to describe is not going to be power and influence. Whatever you're about to describe is not power and influence. Go ahead and tell me the power and influence that you are exerting in your community that's not being held against you.
A lot of the programs that I ran and worked with, the label that I do have, or I don't want to name it here, but the entertainment company that I do have,
why not?
It exercises influence.
Sir, you know what?
It's called Big Indie. It's called Big Indie. So it's a television station that has channels on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV. I work with a lot of entertainers in the industry. I work with a lot of independent artists.
When you say work with, no. When you say work with, what does work with mean?
Work with means that we have done some publicist work for them. For example, did some stuff that helped Drake get an award because of what we put in our magazine.
Right, because when you use those little misleading phrases with people, you say we worked with. That sounds like you're investing money and they're investing money with you, and not just some minor menial thing.
I don't. When I say work with, I mean we give them a platform. So if you look at my television channel, you'll see different artists, different independent artists, women and men that are on the channel with their movies up there, with their television shows up there, and with their music videos up there. So,
sir, may I ask a question then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How significant is the work you're doing?
I mean, that's kind of subjective, don't you think?
No, sir. That's actually a literal.
To me, it's very significant. To the people who utilize our services, it's very significant. So like we've got independent artists performing this week with Raekwon, for example, in L.A. So we're connect a lot of independent artists with the celebrity artists to give them a better shot in some instances. So,
sir, I don't mean to minimize any of this, but I want to make sure I put this in its proper context. Because I want folks to understand that when people say, well, I'm exercising power and influence and it's not being held against me. I found your Instagram page.
Yeah, my daughter runs that one, Big Indie TV.
I'm glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You have 1,500 followers.
Yeah. I don't get that point, but
yeah, you do.
I mean, unless you're saying that corresponds to influence, but I also have a television channel station that's in 135 countries.
Sir,
so, it just depends.
Anybody could hook up one of those. The real thing is what are the returns you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can rap. Anybody can do a lot of these things. But you ask me how my power and influence. I'm not saying I'm compared to.
And sir, that's my whole point. My whole point is you.
Right.
No disrespect and no offense, but you have so much power and influence. You have 1,500 followers on Instagram.
Well, once again, I didn't say how, like you asked me how powerful was it to me, and I'm telling you that a lot of people utilize our services. So at the end of the day, like
if you're working with
connect
Drake,
a lot of people with artists. Go ahead. Sorry.
If you're working with Champagne Poppy, if you're working with Drake, dude, I'm just saying this is.
I said we
ain't got the rub. We ain't got the rub yet.
Yeah, like I said, we're small and independent, but yet and still we make a lot of impact in the areas that we do impact in. Like I said, my daughter runs that page. She's one of the influencers with the company, and her page got maybe 20,000 or so followers. And we do connect independent artists with celebrity artists. I've had about over a dozen celebrities that have helped promote my company, and I haven't paid none of them a penny. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is that now that doesn't mean that someone can't come after me, but I'm just saying I try to insulate myself. And all I'm saying is if you, like you said, you had a lot of people with
brother. My whole point
like
is that that positive stuff you're talking about. The reason nobody's coming after it is it would have to be substantial enough for it to be worth coming after, which is the point I've been making the whole time. You're calling it power and influence, but the folk who would come after you, they don't consider it to be power or influence. That's all I'm saying.
And that's fine. And that's fine. And all I'm saying is
okay, but then you can't tell everybody else that they can protect themselves. They can protect. What you're basically telling all of us is that we can protect our power and influence as long as we never get any power and influence.
No, what I'm actually saying is that don't just hand it over to them. Don't just give them the ball. Yeah, of course they can come after you, but don't just give them the ball. Don't have a track record out here that's so sloppy with women and men and who you do business with.
Okay, once again, tell us where Diddy's track record is sloppy with women. Go.
Well, you said there's one video of him with Cassie with a dang blanket over her head with him yelling at her and her and there looking like she damn near crying. There's a lot of women that's made complaints or that complain throughout the industry. It's well known in the industry, stay away from Diddy parties.
Okay,
So,
you say it's well known in the industry, and who was staying away from his parties when he held one?
I mean, everybody's not at those parties.
Who stayed? If Diddy invited you, who stayed away?
If Diddy invited me, I wouldn't be there.
No, sir. I said, tell me one woman who said that Diddy invited her to the party and she didn't go.
I can't answer that question.
Thank you. You already know the answer. If Diddy invites you, they go.
I'm saying there's other artists in the industry.
Name me a female artist in the industry who before this year, sir, name for me a female artist in the industry who before this year said that Diddy invited her to a party and she didn't go.
I don't know the female artist. I can't answer
All
the
right,
question.
there.
I'm talking about
when
I'm
you
talking
can't,
about
don't make
male
that statement
artists.
until you do. Don't make that statement
I didn't
until
hear you say it
you.
again.
Then when you can get some females, because it's not about the males. Don't sit up here and talk about what he's. You keep using that phrase. Well, when you moving sloppy with the female in the street, and then I ask you who the females are. Well, I don't know who it is, brother. Y'all can't sit up here and keep making those statements up.
So you're saying Diddy don't got no negative track record? You just said that.
Tell me,
you don't have, you don't,
tell,
you don't have
sir.
no bad track
No,
record.
I'm not
asking you a question.
No,
Does he have a
sir.
track
I'm
record?
not saying it. You're saying it because I asked you to name names and you can't. You're the one saying it's not there, not me.
No, I'm saying that his track record, he got a bad.
And I said, name the
the
names of the track record that we're speaking before this year. Third time.
Before this year, you got first of all, you have what was that Exhibit that was talking about? He went to a club and ended up being a gay club years ago.
Females.
You got
females. Females.
I don't know a lot of females.
So
female
what you're telling me is that you just made a false statement
so
you just made a false statement again that there's a track record of females that he's abused and moved sloppy in the streets
I said
with.
A track record. I said there's a track record. He has a track record, not just females.
Okay, you can't name it. No, you can't say that. No, you can't say not just females. You have to say there are no females unless you can name the female.
Well, I can't even say that because I don't know if there are. I can't say that there are no females.
Thank you. Then stop. Then do not speak. Then don't speak on speculation. That is dishonest and wrong to do. You're speculating. If you do not have confirmation, do not say it.
People speaking within the industry is you can't repeat what is kind of
stutter
permeates throughout the industry.
Sir, you can't. No, that's called rumor because you're not naming no names. That's rumor if you're not going to name any names. Don't tell me about what he's done to quote women and you can't name any women. You just keep saying he's been doing things to women. Who are the women? I don't know. But I want to believe it. It makes you sound like a hater. It just makes you sound jealous.
I'm not talking about him with a rimmer. And I'm not a Diddy hater, but what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, you know, all these rumors, like you say, aren't coming out of nowhere. They've been going on for 10, 15 years.
Sir, they're literally coming out of nowhere because I asked you, where's it coming from? And you literally just said, I don't know, but there's women's. Which women? I don't know. I can't name them. I don't have. That's not me saying it. That's you saying it. There are none.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's just too much out there on that.
And I asked you to name. I asked you to name the names of the too much.
Talk about names.
Okay, you talking about the chick from Danity? You're talking about the chick from Danity Kane, sir. You're talking about the chick from Danity Kane. That's nice to hear. There may be some substantiation on what she said, but furthermore, she wasn't accusing him of anything except not paying her. That's the not paying her what she felt she should get. That's before Cassie filed that lawsuit, she was the one up to make those videos about the publishing. She wasn't accusing P. Diddy of doing bad things to women except not paying them. That's all. The same thing everybody said.
Culture making claims prior to this lawsuit.
She was making claims about Diddy raping people.
I didn't say rape.
Okay, thank you. She said the same thing I just said, sir.
Yeah, I'm not calling that man a rapist at all.
And neither did she. The only thing she accused him of is what I just said. So stop trying to exaggerate. All she said was he didn't pay us what we felt we should have gotten paid. That's all she said. That's all.
You're saying Jaguar Wright only ever said that he didn't pay her. That's what you're saying?
Sir, did she make any claims other than financial?
If go look at hip hop culture,
sir, did she name
a lot of claims?
Did she name names
for years?
Did she name names of anything other than financial impropriety?
The only names I remember her naming is what's that other girl he was with?
There you go.
Kids by.
In other words, so the answer is no. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Some people are just so eaten alive with jealousy and rage and hate. And then they just believe things. I want to believe he would do it. Okay, name the name. I ain't got no name, but he would do it, damn it. Yeah, I know he would. Let me go ahead and get over here on Zoom. I got iPhone user. What is your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. Black. This is Najari Atkins from Jacksonville.
All right, Najari from Jacksonville. What's on your mind, brother?
I just wanted to take it back. Well, great broadcast again. Thanks for putting us on game as usual. This takes me back to the whole what makes a man valuable to a woman. The same thing that they did to our brother Bill Cosby is what they're trying to do to P. Diddy, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. I'm aspiring to be great too. So I feel like you said in one broadcast that these women, some of these lovely ladies, are the right hand to white supremacy. And that really resonated with me. Because I don't think that they really know what they're doing. And granted, Cassie isn't, African American, but I feel like unwillingly and unknowingly they are complicit in what they're doing. And what makes me mad and kind of sad at the same time is that they are single-handedly tearing us down. The people that I look up to, the people that I have to look up to, at least, in a good way, they get them up to the top, and then they feel like they're too big or they're too influential, and they bring them down. I mean, I'm only 34, and in my short time on this earth, I just see black man after black man just being broken down. And I want to thank you for putting me on game, because if it wasn't for your Patreon and your dark arts, I feel like this is going to be a dark arts, by the way. I feel like this is going to be one of those, because you're already dropping gems, and I know you try to stay away from that kind of content, that red pill content, but this kind of stuff wakes me up. When you talk about the war in Ukraine, we talk about reparations, it just wakes me up, and it kind of puts a fire in me that wasn't there, and this is kind of dark arts mixed with that segment you did on, that broadcast you did on our brother Bill Cosby. It's just what makes us value to them is the same thing they use, the same thing you just said earlier, is the same thing they use against you. Like, what am I supposed to obtain all of this wealth, all of this success for if they're going to weaponize it against me?
There's the whole point that I'm making here, is that what they do is they find one guy, they turn him into a boogeyman, and then they tell you, yep, this is exactly what you don't want to be. You'll be a target. Meanwhile, never mind the fact you're all targets. Yeah. Never the idea that somebody could tell us that, well, if you just don't act like Diddy, you won't be a target, as if we're not all targets. Well, if you don't misuse your power, wealth, and influence, meanwhile, these other folks are misusing it, quote unquote, misusing it. Misusing is only a term that gets pulled out and dragged out when we show up. Yeah. And then it's for stuff that isn't even illegal. These other folk are doing outright illegal things. Hello, Hunter Biden. They're all out there doing illegal things. Right. And nobody getting defended for it. You want to talk about doing things to women? Remember why Joe Biden had 3 women jump up in 2020 and claim that he had done sexual things. He's sexually assaulted me and this, that, and the other. Remember Kamala Harris. I believe those women. I believe the women. Remember that? Then Joe Biden named her his vice president, and all of a sudden she was like, tell him, sit down. Tell him shut up. So let me get this straight. P. Diddy is paying $30 million for what Joe Biden gets to go to the White House for. Get all the hell the way out of my face. I'll let you have the last word.
Well, I just want to thank you for bringing me on. I really thoroughly enjoy the content that you put out there. It's much needed. And if Diddy is listening, he needs to know that we support him, because with us, it's always guilty before proven innocent. And if one thing I learned from watching you is that you bring everything to the light, whether it be pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, or, just before the war or after the war, you always ahead of the game. And this is a great piece that we need to go.
Well, let me be clear on one thing there. I don't support Diddy. Let me be clear about that one thing right there. I don't support him. But this idea of a blanket condemnation, now that's what I'm not signing up for.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. I do not support Diddy. Let me go on the record for that one there for the umpteenth time. I'm not saying I support Diddy, but blanket condemnation, you're going to have to prove that case. Caller from area code 267. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Raquel. I'm calling from Winecoat, outside of Philadelphia.
Okay, Raquel from Winecoat. What is on your mind?
Yeah, well, so I just want to be clear. I think that what's her name, Cassie? And I'm sure you covered this many times. She's just an ungrateful whore. You know, um, 19. I was focused on college. A lot of 19-year-olds, that's what you're focused on. At that time in your life, you know exactly what it is that you want to do. If with no talent at all. When Ryan Leslie picked her up, she had zero talent. So this was not someone who was coming into the industry like so many other people, knowing that they could sing and dance and, ready to knock the world out with all their talent. She came in as a pretty face. So,
let's just call it,
sacrificed.
she had a terrible voice. Anybody who heard that song, Me and You, that was your 6-year-old niece could do better. She wasn't a talent.
Right.
She wasn't fantastic in the looks
not at all.
department, but she was available and she was a climber. And anything that Diddy touched would turn to gold. So it's just like, okay, we'll throw this little garbage out there because, the little poppy girls thing was working at the time. She'll make a few coins, but that was it. There wasn't going to be anything after Me and You. Hell, Me and You wasn't nothing to write home about. Tell me how many of y'all got Me and You on your cell phones on your playlist today. So she was along with the other million would-be climbers who were trying to get next to Diddy, trying to get next to Babyface, trying to get next to anybody who was out there producing anything at the time. She was just one of a million. And she was 19 and she was like, yeah, let me see if this works. And she was City Girls before City Girls was a thing. Now they want to get 10 years into it and say, okay, I want to get a mulligan. I didn't get all the equity out of the game I thought I was going to get. It wasn't like she was on her way to a Grammy. It wasn't like she was on her way to being Rihanna. That was not in the cards. That wasn't happening. Now she's blaming him for it and hoping the rest of us will form a lynch mob that will defend her cashing out. That's what I have a problem with.
I completely agree with you. And another problem that I also have is she sat there and watched all of those young ladies from Danny B. Kane and all those other groups be, I'm sure she observed them being exploited. I'm sure she observed all kind of stuff. I'm sure besides the people who were making the band and all of them, the shows and everybody that she probably seen begging and scraping is trying to break in the industry with real talent. And she didn't say anything then. And she continues to be silent. So when I see black women jumping up trying to, I'm defending her, I'm standing by her, Diddy's this, Diddy's that, I'm thinking to myself, she wasn't worried about your black ass when she was sitting there in all of them, the houses and the cars and all that other unearned stuff. And
you make an excellent point there. When she was getting all those benefits from Diddy, she wasn't saying a word for all those other chicks that he was getting that money from that was paying for her lifestyle. He didn't say she wasn't saying nothing and standing up for any of them. So for Jaguar to be sitting up here talking today, I'm like, by the way, baby, Cassie wasn't saying nothing for you while she was getting flued out, flued in, run through, run back. She wasn't saying anything for you while Diddy was taking the money from y'all and paying for her in the freak offs. She wasn't saying nothing for you. Nope. So you actually make an excellent point.
And when I tell you the thing that's so, I guess the part of it that is crazy, because I would think that black women's bitterness would be thinking, damn, look, I get up every single day and work. You know what I mean? That they'd be looking at it like, yeah, you're a real ungrateful bitch. That instead of them thinking that way, all this bitterness is turned inside out towards Diddy. I'm like, damn, he was like a charity case. Cassie was like a charity case. He took care of her, took care of her family. And I'm thinking to myself, like, where did we get off, like, having this expectation that this man is like he's an ATM? And I think a lot of black women, jump to that kind of, like, position because they look at black men like that. A lot of black women just look at it from, like, a perspective of, oh, here goes another black man, not paying this, not paying this, not paying this. I'm like, damn, like, again, Cassie had zero talent. So anything she enjoyed in that 10, 11 years of them being together, she should be completely and totally grateful because she didn't earn any of it. She didn't earn one dime of it, nothing. She did not earn any of it. She lived a lifestyle that was equivalent, and following this whole whatever situation settlement, she continues to live a lifestyle that she didn't earn. And I'm saying, how black women missing that? That's just the confusing thing about it. And I realize how black women have been socialized to hate black men so much that they have missed that big thing. And I'm like, and these are black women with, for the most part, sitting around here with 4 or 5 different degrees and $150,000 in debt. And I'm like, you ain't see that Cassie just sat up here with a whole charity case? Like, what? That's all I had to say there. Thank you, Jason. Continue doing your work.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 901. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Jay from Queens.
All right, Jay from Queens, and what's on your mind?
Not much. I just wanted to thank you for speaking up for black men. I just wanted to talk about the first caller when he said whatever happened to Diddy is not going to happen to me because I'm a regular guy and I work a regular job. Majority of regular guys work regular jobs. The same thing that's happened to Diddy happens in every corporate setting for a black man. There's always a woman running around flirting with everybody, and as soon as she doesn't get her way, she will go to HR because it's full of women and tell on you. You'll never know it. So don't think, oh, it can happen to Diddy, but it won't happen to me. It can happen to you. For sure, it can.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's what I mean by they lull you into a false sense of security. You want to tell yourself, well, if I just do it right, they won't mess me, man. I'll be okay. You just messing up. That's why they're going after you. Is you just messing up, doing it wrong. See, if you just, I'm sure that if you was doing it right, it wouldn't be a problem. And then next, understand something: child support court in every courtroom in this country is not filled with a bunch of Diddies. It's filled with a bunch of average dudes.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what he said. That's what kind of made me say, he's like, oh, they happen to Diddy, but it won't happen to me because I'm an average guy. Bro, I work the corporate setting. There's always a woman that flirts with every guy in there. And like you said, a lot of guys, they just live the friend zone life. If I just do this, if I do that, sooner or later she'll come around and see I'm a good. But what I would say, the corporate setting, when you do that and you wonder why you never get a promotion, you wonder why you never can go there, because they go behind your back and say, oh, he texts me this and this, that, and the third, and then you wondering, it can happen to any of y'all. So don't think, oh, I'm not like Diddy. It can happen to you. It happens every day. I see it every day in the corporate world. So I sit here and y'all flirt with these women at the workhouse. Y'all buy them lunch. Y'all do all these things. Meanwhile, they all got boyfriends, and they want the manager or they want the president of the company. They don't want you. But you think, okay, if I just play my role, this, that, and the third. Nah, bro. Pandering to women is not going to work. And on top of that, as a man, why are you men, we got to stick together. The women are ruthless. They're going to stick with each other, right or wrong. But for you as a man, especially in the corporate world, you want to cut another man's feet underneath him for a female that's running around with it's just silly. That's silliness. Point blank. That's the first point.
Well, most fellas walking around out here are silly. There's the real issue. I mean, if we're just going to be brutally honest about it, most of these fellas out here are silly. That's why they're giving simp responses to a very serious thing. This is very serious, very plain. They're giving simp responses to it. So what I'm saying is that they are responding to a assault on their masculinity by giving the responses that they think that the females would most approve of. So in other words, they're so desperate for female approval that even when there are no females around, they're still pandering for it. Think about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. How are you as a man, leave Diddy out of it because they want to use this celebrity thing. Oh, we're different, whatever. But on your daily basis, bro, if you go to a gas station, this, that, and the third, you go to a Walmart, this, that, and the third, it's on a daily basis. So leave Diddy out of it. But as a man, when are these dudes going to stop simping? These dudes been simping since elementary school. When do you learn, but that is part of the programming because I'm in my 30s, right? So we all grew up with happy wife, happy life. And the Disney movies say, yo, you can be the nerd. And then at the end of the movie, she realizes you're the good guy, the programming. These guys think this is going to happen. That's not reality, bro. She's never going to choose you, bro. First of all, because you're not a man. And then second of all, you will never have no real men as friends if you always if a man trying to stand on business and then you come around and, like you said, you change her tire. If I'm her man, okay, I can't do nothing for you. figure it out, and then she can call you, and you change her tire in the middle of the rain, she's not gonna. Maybe you'll get a hug. She's still gonna come back to me. Like, and these dudes are so frustrated about that thing, and they, instead of them talking to real men, they just talk to women. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand that, bro.
Pandering and begging and simping is the manner in which a lot of these fellas here interface with the world. To those of us who don't suck up, it's a foreign language to us. But for them, this is daily survival. When I talk about survival sex, and one of these days I'm going to do my program on survival sex, because it's not just the women engaging in survival sex.
Though.
Well, no. Remember, sex happens between your ears, not between your legs.
Okay.
Remember, sex happens between your ears, not between your legs. So the act of pursuing it is pathetic, is lame.
That's enough for them?
This is where if all you can get is all you can get, if this is the best they're at, they're telling themselves, if I just hang in there, this is where they're at, man.
But as a man, though, won't you think they kind of okay, I can get it sooner or later, but you got these dudes that's arguing with you in their 30s and stuff, still I don't know, man.
It's pretty simple about it. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. To my folks in the chat room, I'm going to have a conversation with my mods about some of these things here. I've been going over folks from mod school here. I've been going to have some conversations about my mods about adhering to our rules. So we're going to have to see about getting some of them here straightened out on that. Let me get caller from area code 248. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Linda.
Hello, Linda. Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey. How you doing? I normally don't call in.
Okay, Linda, where are you calling from, Linda?
Okay, Detroit.
Okay, Linda in Detroit, and what is on your mind?
Okay, I agree with you with your topic about Cassie and P. Diddy. All these women that get with P. Diddy, they use him as a come up, right? So they all know what type of behavior he have and what he expect, but they still did it. That's what they want to do. But a lot of our people these days is just followers. They believe anything the media tell them, like they act like they don't have a mind of their own. So whatever the media say, they just believe it. And Casey, when she was going with P. Diddy, she enjoyed that lifestyle. That's why she stayed all them years. She probably suggested some things too to engage in those acts. She's not as innocent as she's pretend. And also, when she left P. Diddy, from what I heard, I don't know because I don't keep track of them like that, then she married a white guy. If she didn't make all them claims about P. Diddy before and waited all them years afterwards, he probably pushed her to doing it. Because, white people don't want to see a successful black man, so he probably was behind that.
Well, I'm thinking he'd already known Diddy, so he was like a personal trainer, but he was, there's always some Kato Caitlin hanging around when you're black and stuff. Yeah, they tend to do that. But I think it's more of a matter of he was kind of a dupe. He probably fell for Cassie. She's kind of soft-spoken, or at least she tries to present herself that way. She tries to present that way. She tries to present that, I'm not like Lil' Kim. I'm not like Nicki Minaj. So if you don't really dig in, if she didn't tell you about the freak-offs, of all the females who hung out with Diddy, did we think, we would have thought Lori Harvey doing the freak-offs before you would have thought Cassie. Cassie was always understated. She was always soft-spoken. She, for the most part, tried to exude, that sweet, innocent thing. Then, of course, there's when she starts doing this stuff with her hair and other things, but that really didn't get a whole lot of attention in that regard. So with that being the case, for a fella who's not paying attention, she can, on the low, sit up here and play that nice girl thing. It's like, I'm not like the rest of them. Now imagine that you're Alex Fine. You've been Diddy's periphery all this time. You've seen her hanging out with Diddy, but you ain't know about the freak-offs and the drugs and all this stuff. You might have figured there was something going on, but not that going on. And so one day, something slips out. She says something, somebody says something comes out, and then all of a sudden, you start investigating. Okay, what the hell is a freak-off? Hold on. Whoa, you did what? With whom? With how many? Where? Oh, I better not. Astroglide.
Right.
So just think about that for a few
Yes,
moments.
sir.
Now you've married this woman. Remember, she had a baby. She had a baby with him within the first 12 months. She was pregnant and gave birth within a year. Within a year of breaking up with Diddy. So in other words, she didn't even give this little dumb sap time to get his head straight. He didn't do any due diligence. He jumped on it. And what I'm saying is that she was like, yeah, we need to sprint to this altar and we need to sprint through this because I got to grab you before you figure out what I did and start having second thoughts and change your mind. I submit to you that he's had 4 years now to get all the details, that all those cropped up later, and he hit her with the, so is that what you're really like? And she hit him with the Kim Kardashian. Oh, I didn't really mean to do that. I don't do that kind of stuff right there. I was on drugs. They raped me. Even though you can't, what you're saying is ridiculous. So she's saying that because that's supposed to smooth it over with him. It won't. It'll temporarily get him off your back for a little bit, but ultimately he knows better and that's going to win out. So with that being the case, I would submit to you that's what occurred. That he found out what he really married later, and now he's been trying to rationalize it. So she threw this out there to try to smooth things over. It won't last.
Also, I think, too, all these people who making all these allegations against P. Diddy, I'm not saying he didn't do it because I don't know the man. But why didn't you go to court? If he did all these wrong things or you saying he cheated you, then why didn't you take him to court? See, that's why I don't believe everything people tell me in the media, because every time a black man is really in a powerful position or make a lot of money, we have our own people tearing them down, and they don't even know what's going on behind the scenes. They just jump on the bandwagon. They do that to every black man that's in that make a lot of money.
Let's be clear about a few things here. And I need everybody to accept a simple reality. There hasn't been a single black person who was cheated on a record deal since the 1960s or 70s. Not a single one. And I would suggest to you that they were not cheated on them then. These record labels, these executives, that's the white ones, and then later going to the black ones, they go looking for folk who they just want to get a check or they want to be famous. They're not thinking about business. They're thinking about being a star. And as long as they get attention, they consider that to be a form of compensation. So when these folks figured out, well, you know what? Here, you hold this spotlight and I'll hold the check. And you'll be good. And they've been doing it ever since. And the bottom line is these people are making record deals. And it's just like, hey, as long as you sign me up, I don't have to read it. Do you guarantee I'm going to be making an album? Yes, you will. Okay, well, let me go ahead and sign up. And I'm telling y'all, at Bad Boy Records, it was the same thing. It was a bunch of people who were looking to get famous and looking to be known. They weren't reading no contracts. They weren't reading anything. DJ Academics talked about this recently. It's like these folks, when Puffy signed them up, they wasn't reading no publishing. They didn't know what they didn't even try to find out what publishing was. They didn't know that. So he's signing people who are not really trying to be business savvy. And once we got to the 1980s, there's not supposed to be anybody going into the music business operating that way anymore. Nobody. And yet he had a whole damn record label full of them. And what do you find out today? I submit to you, they were more interested in being famous than anything else. Cassie understood she's a person of nominal talent, but she figured, well, if I sex him long enough, let me get some benefits out of it. The gravy train ended, and she's like, oh, hell, all I've got now is a bunch of memories and a bunch of body count. Let me go cash out.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 336. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Last try, caller from area code 336. You're on live with The Business.
Yo, this is L from Charlotte.
L from Charlotte, and what's on your mind?
Yeah, just wanted to say, you have clearly demarcated this position. I've heard nobody else do it like you have done. And I'm pre-internet. So with us having the internet and just having so much information and access to it now, I have never heard nobody demarcate this situation like you have with a line in the sand and from your position. I just want to commend you for that, number one. I definitely want to commend you for that. This is very clear, very articulate, and you're not necessarily pro Diddy, which would make you anti the young lady, but you are definitely giving a male's perspective of it versus the same thing women do and have done and continue to do. So I definitely want to commend you for that. I wanted to ask you this question. When we talk about power, wealth, and influence and the management or mismanagement of it, as an analogy, could you give me an example of it with the analogy being this? Someone's patriot is bound to be someone else's terrorist when we talk about wealth, power, and influence. Could you give me an example of a mismanagement of it, I guess, ideally?
Okay. Let's be very, very clear about what abuse is. Abuse can only be one of two things. Number one, you harming someone who did not consent to it simply because you're more powerful than them. You're doing something to them that they didn't consent to, that they're not aware of. You're just attacking them simply because you're stronger than them. So child abuse, domestic abuse, military incursions, things like that. So you're just taking advantage. You're bullying them because you're just stronger than them and you don't have to adhere to any rules. The other is when you deceive someone. Okay. Now, here's the problem. That wasn't what was happening at Bad Boy Records. Now, they will tell you, most of them will sit there and tell you that. But I gotta read the mail. I saw that video from Mace. You can go up there and freestyle. I saw the video. That's cool and everything, Mace. But let's be clear. I listened to hear the key phrase that all these people keep using. And Mace used that key phrase about these supposed to be your mans. These supposed to be your friends. Whoa, folks, friend is a word. This is a word over here. Business is a word over here. And I submit to you all that the grievance they got with Diddy is Diddy would take them places. They go to parties. They hang out. They smoke weed. They lay up with hoes. And these fellas thought that this was their friend. And that Diddy was going to look out for their best interests because he was their, quote, friend. And that's what it's always been. Whether it's Leor Cohen, whether it was Jerry Heller, whether it was Barry Gordy, whether it was Kenneth Edmonds, whether it was R. Kelly. He's going to look out for me because he's my friend. And what's the first thing they tell you in politics? If you want a friend, go buy a dog. I'm submitting to all of y'all, Bad Boy Records, if you investigate it and go down the line, and I know that in which I speak, if you investigate and go down the line, they're all gonna, when you get to the bottom line of what their beef is, why are you upset with Diddy? Well, I'm supposed to be his man. We supposed to be friends, and you don't do your friends like that. Do your friends like that? Really? So you believe that your relationship was based on friendship, not business. Because if you're going in the door assuming that the relationship is based on business, then you are making the assumption that the person on the other side of the table, Young Guru talked about this once and he was right. He said this is a business arrangement. I don't have no love for them. They don't have no love for me. It's a business arrangement. So if you're going in there with the assumption that the other person is going to look out for you because y'all was smoking weed together and he said he liked your rhymes, that I submit to you, that's what happened to them. That's what they're angry about. That's what they're upset about, is that Sean Combs, they were here to get a friend, and Sean Combs was here to get what he could get. And it was spelled out for them in black and white in their contracts. It was spelled out what they would get and what they were signing over. And if you all don't believe me, then answer how it is that Drake doesn't have those complaints. Answer for me why it is Birdman doesn't have those complaints. Master P doesn't have those complaints. Nipsey Hussle, rest in power, didn't have those complaints. Explain to me how it is that list of savvy people came through the same system and didn't have the same complaints. Nipsey Hussle waited for half a decade for a record deal because he said, I'm going to sign a record deal, but I'm not going to sign a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how the hell is it that he knew that coming in the door and these other folks out here didn't? Nipsey wasn't trying to be famous. Take a look at the way he lived his life. He wasn't trying to be famous. I'm from Louisiana, y'all. Birdman don't be styling and profiling through Louisiana like that. He doesn't. He doesn't. Neither did P. Hell, even Boosie. Boosie done left out and went to Atlanta. He ain't trying to style and profile like that. He's about stacking the money up and that's it. He wasn't trying to be famous. He was trying to be rich. Diddy had to have an image, especially after Biggie got killed. He had to become the mogul for it so that it enticed other people to sign up for the label. But the bottom line is Diddy did what every record owner has done. He's looked out for his interests. He's supposed to drive the hardest bargain that he can for himself. You're supposed to drive the hardest bargain you can for yourself, and y'all meet somewhere in the middle. And if you cannot meet in the middle, and if you are talented, then you pick your talent up and you take it to somebody else. And the fact that did not happen, I'm telling y'all, basically what you see in there is this was the music business, and you had a bunch of people talking about friendship coming into the music business. Case in point, if you ask any of them what their contract said, they can't tell you. All these decades later, and they actually can't tell you what their contract said. If it did, wouldn't they have a case? If they had truly been cheated, wouldn't they have a case for suing? You know, the way that Stevie Wonder went and goes sue them folk and whatnot. Wouldn't they have a case for suing if they actually had been cheated?
Yeah. I definitely agree with you on the business side. I think something that's not duly stated, but it should be so obvious. These people had advisors when they signed contracts, meaning they had lawyers that were supposed to help them understand what deal they were getting when they were with Bad Boy or any other record label. So to me, that's null and void. When people go broke, they find a million reasons to blame one or two people why they don't have $1 million. I just wanted to get to this misunderstanding we have about power and wealth and its misuse. And I think, again, you explained that very well what abuse is and what the mismanagement is through deception and things like that. I don't think any of that occurred. Anything that was in the record, outside of the abuse part, I don't know what's real and what's not real. But anything sexually that she did, you could find that stuff on the average porn site. Let's just be honest. You know?
Well, the real thing is, once again, you got folks who want to be your friends and they're on the record label. Right. You got chicks laying up on you thinking they're going to be a wife, and they are just your sexual companion. You're not wife. What Diddy was letting her know is you're not wife material. You are one of my sexual companions who is telling yourself that just like these fellas over here think I'm looking out for them, you're telling yourself that I'm going to look out for you. No, I'm going to take you to the parties. We're going to go to all these places, but you are not you are my companion. And she's telling herself, well, don't worry, I'll finagle myself into a position. No, now I've been here for 10 years. Yes, you are a long-term companion. Thank you very much for giving us a call. To the folks in the chat room talking about, well, you know, the lawyers are in the pockets of the corporations. No, not really. Not really. What's happening here is that these people aren't even doing a cursory evaluation of what they're signing. These people dangle a record deal in front of them. They dangle a check in front of them. And they know how to play the game. They sit up here and tell you, oh, we'll write you a check for $250,000. Okay, if they've been living in the projects, watching folks make $20,000 a year, 250, he's like, man, I'm set for life. At least he tells himself that. And doesn't realize what the terms of the contract really say because he's got his eye on that check. If I can just get that 250, it doesn't matter if I don't get anything else. If I can get the 250, I'll make it do something, and then realize that's not really the way it's going to happen. I have a question for everyone here. Is P. Diddy obligated to protect other people's interests. Is P. Diddy obligated to protect Cassie's interests? She wants a husband. Is P. Diddy obligated to do that? Is he obligated to protect the folks who want to be in this record label? He's obligated to protect their interests. Look out for them. Make sure that they've signed the best deal that they can get. Let me go ahead and throw a poll up for that. Let me get call from area code 404. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from? Call from area code 404. You're on live. Okay, caller from 404 has been abducted. Caller from area code 510. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This August from Oakland calling you again, man, checking in.
August from Oakland. What's on your mind?
Okay. So I gotta disagree with you just a little bit because I agree on everything about the women. These women that have homosexual threesomes and mess with gay dudes with his money, period. But I cannot excuse Puffy's homosexuality. Like, I'm just not going to condemn him. Like, I've never called 8 dudes to come have sex with my girlfriend or one dude at all. I've never done that. Like, that's deviant homosexual behavior, and I'm going to land right there.
Okay, so slow down, sir. Slow down. First of all, well, you can make that statement, sure. But in the words of Sigmund Freud, the only unnatural sex is none at all. So that might I'm pretty sure there's a number, sir. I'm pretty sure that there are some, sir. I'm sure there are some things that you do that other people would consider to be sexually inappropriate.
Yeah, but now we're talking about homosexuality.
Okay, but sir, no, you say that homosexuality is inappropriate. Well, there are plenty of folks who think that there are things that you do that are inappropriate too, and that they would call into question your character.
We all have the right to make those choices, though, on our own moral compass, though, right?
That's correct, like, and that includes for Diddy, and that includes for Diddy. That's not a right that you reserve only for yourself. He has that right too. And he's like, hey, he doesn't mind watching other folk for his he considers it entertaining to see them have sex with Cassie. Now, I don't think he would have had them do that with Kim Porter, but he's saying with this chick over here, yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah, but doesn't that give you like rapey? Like when I was in high school, used to be dudes who like to run trains on girls. I never got involved because I saw some of these dudes in juvenile hall getting 20 years.
Okay, sir, can a female consent to random sexual contact? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But if the man
then that refutes the idea of rape, sir. If she's consenting, then you've already debunked that that's rape. So that's not rape.
For sure, I don't want to use that term in this particular situation.
Okay, then let's not use that term.
I was a witness. Yeah, but I was a witness to young girls when I was.
You were not a witness to Diddy.
Participated in these types.
You were not a witness to Diddy.
No, but I'm just saying.
Okay, then you can't bring that over. Then you can't bring that over here, sir. If Diddy wasn't doing it, then that's irrelevant to this discussion. You cannot put what you saw other people doing on him.
Diddy was for sure butt breaking, man. Diddy was for sure butt breaking.
Okay, well, sir, Cassie liked it.
Yeah, and that's a lot of these women are pretty disgusting these days.
Okay, she chose him.
Baby mamas.
Okay, well, sir, that's where your critique needs to be. She chose him. He can't be that bad. He can't be that bad. She chose him.
I agree. But I don't want to haze over the fact that Blood is a homosexual, though. I don't want to just gloss over that.
Okay, sir, I'm sure you engage in behavior that other people would consider to be abnormal too.
Not homosexual.
Okay, sir, abnormal is abnormal, sir. So are you saying that bestiality is better?
No.
Okay, so I'm sure you engage in some abnormal behavior in other people's opinions too. So you can keep saying that phrase, but you're a deviant, and in other people's eyes, you're a deviant too. That has nothing to do with Cassie. That's got nothing to do with Cassie at all. Nothing.
I'll agree with that. I'll take that.
Unless she is claiming that she had a problem with it, and she didn't have a problem with it for 10 years until she needed to go settle down with Alex Fine. Now she claims she has a problem.
Right.
And that's an insult to our intelligence. So it is irrelevant if you have a problem with the men that P. Diddy brought in the room. She didn't have a problem with it.
I'll take that. Thank you, Mr. Black.
Thank you very much for giving us a call, and get that janky-ass phone fixed. Caller from area code 973, you're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Jason? Let me get to this quieter area. Najee from Edison, New Jersey. It's two things that you said that was on point in cautionary tales. Especially about the relationship as it relates to business and friendship. Being in the trucking industry and having employees, and when you hire friends, sometimes those lives can get blurred, and sometimes that relationship, once somebody deems you a friend in his business, it builds contempt. Just like with Beanie Siegel and Jay-Z. That was Beanie Siegel's argument with Jay-Z, that he thought they had a friendship. And the fact that Jay-Z was strictly business, that bred contempt for Jay-Z.
Well, I'll go a little bit further with it. Let me interject here. I'll go a little bit further with it here. It's dangerous to have that idea, because when you're doing business with people that you just signed on and they quote unquote consider themselves your friends, then by definition, if they get into trouble, if they mess off their money, if they make irresponsible decisions, they will be calling you and expecting support, not as a business relationship, but as their buddy. And do you really want to promote that idea with them, that you are their buddy?
100% correct. And again, like I said, being in the trucking business and hiring drivers who we have a relationship outside of the business, sometimes it doesn't work. But even a cautionary tale, even with the last caller, when he tried to focus on the fact that Diddy is a homosexual, that's neither here nor there. This is just a cautionary tale, and on a smaller scale. In my early 20s, it was a business exchange between a female. It was a simp business exchange. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes as men we have to learn the hard way, and I learned the hard way in my 20s. And the attempt of me trying to get my money back, and also figuring out that this woman was being deceitful, she levied allegations with me and said that I was stalking her. And I just bought a condo at the time, and this woman literally had the police surround my job at the time. And unfortunately, I didn't lose my job. These people took me out in handcuffs to later have these allegations and charges dismissed. So you have to be real careful of indicting people in the court of public opinion. You have to let things go through. That's why I'm not defending Diddy, and this is no indictment on women as a collective.
There's my thing right there, is that some of the folk who've called in here tonight, and there's a bunch of them, they got an axe to grind with Diddy in other areas. And I'm not saying that those other areas are not legitimate. What I'm saying is those other areas are irrelevant to this. So you're conflating these other things. Deal with that over there. Deal with his possible involvement with Tupac's murder, Biggie's murder. You deal with that over there. There are enough things that he has done that you can go after him on. You don't have to make something up. Because what you get into the habit of just making things up, that makes you the corrupt person. And I wouldn't want to trust you. Because if you'll lie on him and say, well, he had it coming, well, you'll lie on us too. If it serves your interest or if it's to your best benefit. So folks cannot afford to sit up here and be cavalier about somebody who says, well, if I don't like them, I'll just make something up because, well, he's a bastard and he has it coming.
You're 100% right. And again, like I said, unfortunately, in my situation, I had money to hire a lawyer and fight this. But I'm letting you fellas know how easy it is for somebody to levy allegations against you, and it's up to you to prove your innocence. And when you're on a larger scale, when people are coming after you, and not only are you fighting for your life in the courts and you're spending money, but you're also fighting for your reputation in the court of public opinion. So we have to be real careful about that. I'll close.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight here. Let me go ahead and get over here on Zoom. Let me get Zoom up and going here. All right, I got Dan calling me over here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and see if we can get his camera on for us here. All right, Dan, what's on your mind, brother? He's connecting his audio there.
Hey, what's going on? You get me?
Yes, sir. What's on your mind, Dan?
I'm just not tuned in. I kind of missed the first hour of the broadcast, but I definitely want to add this in because now I might have my personal opinion on it, but that's irrelevant right now. But the truth of the matter is, I think it's so gay to me that you got so many dudes that dumping on this dude just because they don't like him or have a personal opinion about him, and which is cool. Everybody entitled to their own opinion, but I'm not going to dump on somebody. You know what I'm saying? And clearly we see it is all this shit is basically a money grab. It's the same thing with the Bill Cosby effect. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of non-black women targeting the man. And then so far as these dudes, the only issue that I see that they got with him is because, well, he ain't look out for me. You know, we got this shit that when a black man is balling out or he's very successful at something, I think that's another sense of entitlement. Like, hey, man, he's supposed to look out for us. And the whole time, like you said before, you dudes won't focus on the business. Y'all focus on getting the fame and be on the front line.
Well, I mean, you call yourself looking out for people, and next thing you know, you've liquidated your resources. You done bailed everybody out. They still keep doing the same dumb stuff they were doing. You know, it's never that they messed up one time and that's it. You bail them out once, and you're going to spend the next 30 years bailing them out, is the way that happens. So instead of you running your business, now you're running a charity. And it's just like, okay, if you're going to be successful, look, the bottom line is if you're going to be successful, you're going to be making enemies. And you're going to make enemies of some folk who started making assumptions about what you're supposed to do for them. And that's just the bottom line of it.
They did the same thing with, what's that dude? Birdman. With the whole Lil Wayne situation. All these industry dudes was jumping on that bandwagon against Birdman. I'm like, wait, you signed that contract, though. You know what I'm saying? Y'all won't focus on the business. You like, hey, this my homie. He's supposed to look out and stuff like that. So, you know, niggas got to take accountable for that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing any type of business, like, you better look at this shit you better understand the business you're in and look at it from a business aspect first. Now, so far as with the Cashley situation, now all these different chicks coming out and saying, well, I think he should give me a bag too. Like, no, y'all not for the turn no, I'm not gonna say the word on this. I'm gonna use the PG-13 version. Y'all not gonna turn no inappropriate behavior into a hustle, because any chick I know in real life that been done the wrong way, they ain't turn around and get no check. They turn around and got some justice, what they call a brother or a daddy or somebody.
Well, you know, they're trying to turn their slut phase into a hope engine, and what you're finding out is how skullduggerous they'll be. And what I'm saying is that as women are smart about this. They're a hell of a whole lot smarter than most of the guys out here today, because women are not going to get together and allow an environment where men get to sit up here and say, okay, let's take advantage of them. Even if the men are dealing with them square and she's just making bad decisions. She's like, oh no, I want a mulligan. You got fellas sitting up here arguing for their own exploitation. Because the bottom line is this, you're not arguing for this for Diddy. You're arguing this for yourself. That's what you're arguing it for. That's why I said the child support courts are not filled with a bunch of Diddies. They filled with a bunch of average dudes. It's filled with a bunch of regular fellas. And these guys are telling themselves, well, as long as I don't make as much money as Diddy does, I'll be safe. And that's not what we're looking at right now. You're looking at a situation now where it's like, okay, let's just make it fair game. And that's why I'm trying to tell the fellas, by the way, if you make 150 and up, that's enough for a broad to go after you. Because fellas are forgetting, before we start talking about Diddy here, who are we talking about? Well, if you're a doctor, you got to watch out. If you're a lawyer, you got to watch out. If you're an engineer, you got to watch out. These chicks are trying to get pregnant by you, and off they go. Now, if you're going to introduce a situation where she doesn't even have to get pregnant, she just has to say that she didn't like the terms under which you all's relationship went, and now she's claiming that you did something extra. So now let me go ahead and sue him and threaten to destroy his name so I can get me a hope engine.
Yeah, and all these chicks is old chicks. These are old chicks. These are chicks that's and truth to be told, these chicks is if they is married now, they married to average dudes. So it's kind of like,
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. They're not just old. They're not just old. They're chicks who've lost their in. These aren't females who are currently with the dude. Let me go ahead and explain what I mean by that. Keke Palmer ain't with the dude. She's with Darius Jackson. That's why she can act a fool. She's with Darius. Tia Mowry wasn't with the dude. She was with Corey Hardrick. She was dreaming about being with the dude, but she acting a fool because she with him. There's a reason why fellas at a certain level, the women are on their best behavior while they're with him. You only hear this stuff after they break up. You only hear it then. While they're with him, it's all quiet and crickets. So if it's that bad, why is it quiet and crickets while you're there?
Yeah. Yeah, some strong points there, man.
Nobody's looking to exploit you till you get there. So it's not just the women who are old, it's once they've lost their in. That can be after 1 decade, that can be after 1 year. If she realizes some of these young fellas like Sway Lee is out here running through all the chicks he can, and next thing you know, they swinging on him, they threatening him, they keying cars and stuff, and I'm thinking about, okay, what's this going to be in 5 years? In 5 years, I can see some of these chicks making allegations simply because you've lost your in.
And now, but you know what though? By us seeing what's going on now, that makes, especially like dudes like me that come from the background that I come from, when you see stuff like that, that makes you want to move way more smarter. Choose, you know what I'm saying, make you know what I'm saying, kind of make better choices because.
But I can't agree with that though, Dan, because that part is very, very deceptive. Because my question to you would be, okay, so please tell me how we can move in such a way that makes sure that we would never be susceptible to this. Because you can promise me that you will never commit a crime, but can you promise me that nobody's going to lie on you about one?
You know what? You just killed my argument right there. Because, yeah, people do lie on you every day. It's people that's behind them bars that get lied on and take the stand on every day. So, yeah, I can't even argue with you on that one. Yeah,
that's the problem I have, is that we're going to have to stand on 10 toes and fight this down, because now they're just saying that, hey, if she accuses you, you're going to have to prove that you're innocent. And by the way, if she accuses you of something that's not even a crime, she's literally putting together a lawsuit that says, yeah, we had a bunch of wild, crazy sex for a decade. I would like for you to declare that was wrong. I want to go to court and I want the judge to declare that was wrong. After a decade, brother, you done crossed every I and dotted every T. How does a person claim that they're a damn prisoner after a decade? Well, this where we at.
They never said, and she never said she was, and truth to be told, she didn't. I don't think she said that she was forced.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I read the lawsuit. I read the lawsuit to y'all. Okay. Yes, she did. She said she was forced. The word forced is in there. And that was my point, is forced you how?
Did she now? Can I ask you this? Now, did she say that he put a gun in her head, some shit?
No. Well, what she said is that she was a victim of physical abuse, and that put her in a psychological state where she was afraid. So the question is, okay, so were you afraid when he was in New York and you were in Los Angeles? Were you afraid then? What? So you're getting on a plane flying from Los Angeles to New York. Were you afraid the whole damn time? What the hell? Hey, I need you to get on the plane and come to New York so I can abuse you. What? The freak off is in New York next weekend. Man. I need you to get on a plane so that we can abuse you. Oh, I don't want to be abused, but I better buy these plane tickets. That's literally what she was doing. If you believe her own lawsuit, you literally believe that she was, oh, I'm so afraid, I'm so angry, I'm so hurt, I'm so scared, but I have to buy these plane tickets and fly from Los Angeles to New York so I can be abused some more.
Now, that right there, that's some shit I never heard of.
Well, that's what the lawsuit says. He's talking about all the condos he bought for her, all the cars. He bought several places in New York and several places in not just Los Angeles, but California. It says it in the lawsuit. And that they were going to places all around America, but he wasn't with her all the time. So what that means is that there were times that she was in LA and he was in New York. How the hell are you a prisoner then, ma'am?
Yeah, that don't make no sense. That's clearly some I'm white and I'll say so type of shit. As y'all like to call it. I'm white and I'll say so. That's what it sounds like. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Well, she's like, who's gonna be running the courts? I'm gonna put him in. She's like, okay, this will fly. Who's gonna be the judge in the court system I'm about to put him in? So that's amazing. That wouldn't work on Alex. Now she would never try that on Alex Fine, her husband. She would never try that on him. On Diddy,
Ryan Feldman. What's the other dude she was messing with? What's his name?
Well, not Ryan Leslie. I mean, no, you can try that on the black man. No, you can try that on the black man.
Yeah,
you can do that.
Yeah, that's what I was going.
Ask Halle Berry and Stacey Dash how making accusations against white men worked out for them. Both of those two women tried to make domestic violence accusations against them. These were not rich white men they were with. These are just average middle class white men. Take a look at how far that went.
Now, sorry to interrupt you. Stacey Dash? I remember what Stacey Dash said that she called the police on a white dude, and the police turned around and put her in handcuffs and shit.
Well, they called the police on her, but when they showed up, she claimed that she tried to say he hit her, and the police was like, "Okay, let's talk to him." They talked to him and his kids, and they said, "Yeah, Stacey, get in this paddy wagon."
Yeah. I kind of figured
that's the way that goes. So, like I say, they know who they can go after and they know who they can't. So when you make that statement, brother, they know what they're doing. And as men, we cannot be so simple-minded, simpish, and dumb to sit up here and endorse and promote an environment where all somebody got to do is say, wait until you got 3 little pennies to rub together, and then it's a free fire zone that will allow them to accuse you of anything and any time, any place, and basically to remove any statute of limitations. So any chick you've been with now can just wait in the wings, and if her life doesn't turn out the way she thinks it should be, or if she's just angry and bitter, that she's like, how dare you do this for another chick when you never would do it for me? If I gotta suffer, we're both gonna suffer. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, that was 100% fact. I'm just more disappointed in the dudes who fall for this simple-minded shit because going back to what you said about the child support earlier, it's because I've seen a lot of child support cases, even though I don't got kids. Them child support courts is filled up number average dude and dudes who have multiple kids. So that's it. That's all I got for you. But nice broadcast as usual. And I'm gonna continue to tune in.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a caller from area code 630. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. This is Nick from Chicago by way of Houston.
Nick from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Yeah, there's a few things here. Firstly, with the caller talking about the average guy can't be touched, there's multiple ways the average guy could be touched. Just at the job, some of the guys already covered it and you covered it, but I mean, I was in an arcade place and somebody just said, "Oh my goodness, you're stalking me." As soon as she came in, guess some overweight chick that I wasn't hitting on, I hit on her friend. When she walked away, she came back and randomly said it. The security guy knew I was already there for an hour playing some arcades. And then he said, "Yeah, I know it's nothing wrong, but when a situation like this happens, we're instructed to just escort the guy out." So now, after the chick screamed it out loud, everybody's looking at me crazy. I come by that mall area, whatever, for a few weeks. I got people talking to me funny as if I did something. That had nothing to do with money. That had nothing to do with some status, no power, nothing. Just somebody randomly screamed something out loud. And then also, when I was working at a job, somebody tried to get me fired because I wasn't taking on to her sexual advances. I do not like obese women, not at all. It is repulsive to me. And this woman was obese, and I had the displeasure of sitting next to her at my telemarketing job. And while I'm on calls, she's trying to hit on me actively when I'm on calls.
And here's the way that works. She'll get upset if you're not responding to her. If you're talking to other chicks and not talking to her, she'll try to accuse you of secondary sexual harassment. That she's offended that you're talking to other chicks and not her. That's literally the environment we're in today. If you're talking to other chicks and not the big fat ugly one, she'll claim that she doesn't like the workplace environment that you're creating because you're talking to other people.
Exactly. I actually had to wind up quitting that job because after the manager came up to me, she's saying I'm throwing up signs or something like that, and I said, you know what? I don't need this job. The white guy, and it was a black secretary. I remember it like it was yesterday. The secretary put her head down. She leaned forward. She knew what was coming. I said, yeah, I don't need this job. I'll quit right now. And then he said, oh, it's okay, because he was going to do an incident report. And I said, there's nothing to do an incident report on. I've been telling you for a few days that this woman is harassing me. So I said I could just quit now. And I didn't show up anymore. They kept calling me back. I didn't show up to that job. But another thing I wanted to touch on was the way at the beginning of the broadcast, you said something about the amount of money a guy makes. I will never forget this. I was sitting in the Olive Garden, and this woman, and I quote, said to me, I don't care how much damn money you make. If you're not spending any of it on me, it doesn't matter. From that day forward, about 7 years ago, that kind of just changed my whole perspective, if nothing else did. When she said that, she said, I'll get a guy that makes half of what you make, and if he spends it all on me, that will be better than a guy that spends nothing. Because I wasn't trying to spend anything on this chick. This is one of those chicks, smash and pass, whatever. And
brother,
I wasn't trying to go
I've
for
had
anything
about
else.
3 of them try that one on me. And I'm like, baby, if you think that's the way it's going to work, beat your feet. Go right. This is not going to be. I want fellas to understand something here. And then I got to move on. Don't ever let a female put you into a bidding war. Especially a bidding war against a dude who ain't even there. She is conjuring up a hypothetical imaginary dude and trying to coerce you that you need to start bidding against a guy who ain't even there. So it's one thing if she was trying to nag you about bidding against a fella who was there. She's trying to sit up here and get you to bid against a figment of her imagination. Fellas, don't ever fall for that. Furthermore, don't ever get into a bidding war, period. The price is the price. Whatever is the level of benefits or reward that you are giving her, it needs to be commensurate to the level of reward and benefit that you are receiving from her. If you have determined that this is the level of reward that she's getting that you're comfortable with, the price is the price. And leave it there. Don't let her sit up here and tell you need to be doing a whole lot more, especially if you're doing more than has ever been done for her. It's like, I'm doing good where I am right now. She doesn't like it. The price is the price. I'll get somebody else. Well, damn it, get to getting. Don't sit over here telling me I'm from Louisiana. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Get to getting. If you think somebody's going to outbid, get on over there and get into bidding. Go right ahead, but don't think. First rule of hostage taking: point the gun at the hostage and not yourself. Because right now you're not pointing at me. I'm not your hostage. You're pointing at yourself. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, fellas, don't get into no bidding war. Do not get into a bidding war. Don't let someone coerce you into being into a bidding war. Because you're not bidding against nobody. You're getting game played on you. I want to send a shout out here to everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much for your support. To my man, Jafar, thank you very much for your support, brother. I appreciate that tonight. G and everyone else, thank you all here. They have my PayPal tied up for a week now, but I want to thank you, and you can celebrate us getting that thing back open there. Drop a few coins. It don't hurt. Let me get caller from area code 504. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. This is G from New Orleans.
G from New Orleans. What's on your mind?
All right. Great broadcast, brother. Let me say this. Couple of things, and I'll be brief because I know you got to move on with your show. What I have heard, and I to echo a few callers earlier, what the brother said, and how this is just reminding you of what happened with Bill Cosby. It's a matter of basically people who are hating on this man because he didn't like my music. He didn't want me to do this. He wouldn't do that for me. He wouldn't give me my publishing. That's all fine and dandy. And by that I mean, I'm not saying that Diddy is not an asshole like you other people have alluded to, but that doesn't change the fact, and that's to my next point, that they changed the laws up in New York and even across this country.
New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby,
Nevada.
You name it. For when there's black men, you get laws changed. And I'm not talking about slowly. You get them changed that session of the legislature when they want to go after you.
Right. And that's what they did with Diddy, even here. Yeah, because the whole thing is that if he did all of this stuff, I've listened to people. I was on someone's broadcast who they were just bashing Diddy. I think Diddy did this. I did that. I was like, why do you think that? Because I've been hearing stuff about him for years. Okay, so where's the evidence? Where's the police report? I'm not saying Diddy isn't a good guy. He's not. But at the same time, same thing with R. Kelly. But that doesn't mean that our government didn't both abuse the law to go after them. You know, R. Kelly is not in jail on rape charges. R. Kelly is on jail for violating the Mann Act and violating RICO, which basically everybody knows deep down R. Kelly is not John Gotti. And Diddy, on that point, to get focused on Diddy has a beef or was having an issue with Ciroc. I don't know if your listeners are aware of that. He was going through that as well before all of this stuff started. So what everybody is seeing is that if they can do this to a man who is I think Diddy, wasn't he the first hip-hop billionaire? It's either him or Jay-Z. If they can do that to somebody with that amount of money, think of what they are doing to the brothers who don't have the money, don't have the resources, like the caller that called in alluded to, because it can happen to anybody. All it takes is one accusation. You don't have to have no evidence. You don't have to have no proof. They don't even have to go to the police on you, Jason.
Yeah, there's my whole point about it is that these are rules and laws that are being put into effect, and the only people getting tripped up are black folk. Kevin Spacey ain't going to jail yet. These are rules and laws that will only be used for you. If a black woman tries to accuse a white man, ain't nobody going to pay that any attention. No one's coming to pay her any attention for that. That's why I named Halle Berry and Stacey Dash, and we can go down the damn list. That chick with Travis Kelce, anybody listening to you? Nobody's paying you any damn attention at all. The only time they're going to pay attention is because this is what you're being targeted for, is if it's a black man they're going after. This is why black men, you cannot be this slow and this stupid to sit up here. Well, I don't like the Diddy did XYZ, then we need to go get him for what he did. Because you're not going after him, you're going after yourself. Just because the amount they're going after him is millions, you're creating the whole issue is, can we create an environment where any rando female anywhere can just accuse you of something, and the cultural practice, even if it's not the letter of the law, the cultural practice is to target you simply because you've been accused. Do you really want to sit here and continue to weaponize this? And the only thing that comforts these guys, which is why they keep saying this nonsense against Diddy like this, and I'm not saying he's not guilty of other things, he's not guilty of this. The only reason why is because they're telling themselves, well, look, I'm broke and busted, so I ain't got to worry about them coming after me. I ain't got nothing. And that's why I keep saying, by the way, when the police roll up, when child support rolls up, when your job starts messing with you, that doesn't require millions. And they will be operating under the same thing. I'll let you have the last word.
Right. Look, they changed the laws. Even go back to the 90s, Jason, when O.J. Simpson happened. Domestic violence laws changed across this country. You can't even own a firearm, even just by being accused of it. Even if you get arrested and not even convicted, if you have a bond set, they won't let you carry a firearm. Everything changed as a result of that case, and they use black men as the litmus test. And people need to put their emotions aside when you start hearing this stuff, just because you don't like a person. Like, I even saw Earthquake and one comedian Earthquake on Vlad TV when they were talking about Bill Cosby's case and how he believed he was guilty because, if Bill Cosby had his way, he would have got Def Comedy Jam canceled. How does him not liking Def Comedy Jam prove rape?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Simple-minded niggas sitting up here holding grudges for unrelated things. Well, this will be my chance to go after him. And what I'm saying here is that you don't have to come out and cheerlead to support him, but you don't support injustice. Now, you don't do that, dummy. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. You don't sit up here and support injustice. Well, don't worry, they'll get him over there. They ain't gonna mess with me. I ain't gonna do what he did. No, but he didn't do what the last fella did either. Well, they ain't gonna mess with me. I'm gonna be good about that. I ain't gonna do nothing go after me for. That's the problem right there. Y'all fellas, y'all sit up here and leave yourselves out there vulnerable. See, if you just play the game right and if you just do positive things, because we all know that they don't target black men who do positive things. We all know they only target black men who do, quote, negative things. We all know they never target the guys who do, quote, positive things. They never do that. That doesn't happen. Mr. Positivity doesn't. You just keep your nose clean. Don't do anything illegal. Don't mess with the hoes. You'll be okay. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Will Smith. Yeah, long as you don't do nothing illegal, you ain't got to worry about nothing if you don't do that deal. You'll be all right. Long as you don't abuse your abilities, then they'll leave you alone. You ain't got to worry about that. Call America 305. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
TBA, what they do? It's your boy One Love out of Miami.
One Love. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, you working OT tonight, ain't you, man? You doing it, huh?
All day, every day.
Hey, that's what's up. Hey, so real quick before I even jump into it, so you do got your Cash App, your regular Cash App back, because I want to send something to you.
For the business. Yeah, for the business, not for my other channel, but the business Cash App never stopped working. So the one for the business, I got two Cash Apps, everybody. One for the business and one for my other YouTube channel. So the one for the business is fine. It's never stopped working. PayPal across the board stopped working for me. So that's the only difference there.
Okay. Yeah, if your mom, one of your mom could make sure. So the handle of the business Cash App is good.
Right. It's in the description of the video.
Okay. All right, so let me just say, you hit on a point so subtle, but it hit so strong with me earlier when you extrapolated on what the guy was saying about it should be lawyers. When they sign record deals, they have lawyers and handlers. That is not true, and you expounded on that by telling them, and I know this firsthand. I had a record deal that I turned down in 2003 that. Once they know you have a lawyer, they kind of back away from you because they know that you know what's going on. And that's what made you kind of initiate the poll. And of course, no, it's not Diddy's responsibility to look out for your best interest. He's not your lawyer. You're supposed to have one. And if you have one, they're supposed to look out for you. He's looking out for his best interest. That's the first thing. But it kind of, I don't want to say amazed me, but it was great that you actually pointed that out. You know what I'm saying? That people come from broken structures. They in the projects. That 200,000, I was off of 500K in 2003. But that thing in that contract, like you say, they don't read. When it says recoupable, that's why I got a lawyer to figure out what does recoupable mean. That is a loan. You owe that back. That's just first and foremost. The second thing on what you're saying is when it comes down to nobody defends the man, and the courtroom isn't set up to defend any man, you know, at minimum, they are going to defend the white man. And my biggest point is, if you have these females who are able to just, as you said, come back years later because they're not comfortable or they have an axe to grind, that leaves all of us in a very vulnerable position with one main example. Most married couples, well, I can't say most, but there's married couples that say they want to spice up the relationship or keep it spicy, TBA. You know what they do? They role play. Now, when you got the bed wenches out here that want to role play and they play slave, they let the white zaddy do whatever he wants to him. And he can get away with that for the rest of his life. But if you married to a white girl, or you're a black man married to a black girl, and you decide to role play, and it's something a little rough, and you both were struggling during that time, you let you all separate, and you come up, and you get, you know what I'm saying, you get on the higher tier. She gets to come back and say, oh, those 15 years we were doing that rough role play, I felt uncomfortable. And then by default, you're guilty. And that's a great point that you were bringing up, that, hey, how was you in L.A., Cassie, Diddy in New York, but you scared? Well, you had plenty of opportunity to leave, but you didn't leave. She did not want to leave because she was waiting on her time to shine. And when that time didn't come, but she was ran through, then she said, oh, now I need to get mine. And that brings a little concern to me, because I did my thing back in the day. And now I'm trying to get my comeuppance. And I say, dang, these females, I've been married for 12 years now. They can come back and say whatever they wanted to. And I have no leg to stand on, except for I always keep some video. Yeah, I keep my videos to show. Ain't nobody force you to do nothing. But how many people was thinking like that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I say, definitely we don't gain anything by creating an environment that is easier to target us, because women don't do that. Women give themselves the ability to do everything, including kill your kids. I mean, this is how far we've gotten. They give themselves the ability to literally kill your kids. And now they're telling you that if you was having sex with her and if she later decides that, oh, she regretted doing that, well, she can come back 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years later. Well, I'm not okay with that. Now, you can't come back a year later. Hell, if she lies to you about the kid, you can't say anything. If you spend all this money on her, well, you just out of it. So your liability is unlimited, and their ability to impose that on you is unlimited. As men, this is the height of being non-strategic. You don't ever sit up here and condone something like that. And if all they had to do is package it in, see, this is the trick bag they get you in. All they got to do is package it in. Okay, let's find a fella that you all don't like. Because remember, folks, you're forgetting the art of war. This is the art of war. If you want to target a people, well, what do? Well, if you want to go after somebody, but you don't really have a legitimate way to go after them, what do? You assassinate their character first. You start attacking them. You start running their name down. You start accusing them of things. It don't have to be real. Usually it isn't. How they went after our civil rights figures. Made up a bunch of stuff. Made up about Dr. King and white women. To this day, for those of you who don't know, to this day, they have never substantiated that. There's never been a white woman who jumped up and said, yep, I'm the one. Never been. But they've been saying it to the point that niggas now just sit up here and say that dumb nonsense. Well, you know, Dr. King has some white women. J. Edgar Hoover didn't play around. When it was Elijah Muhammad, they named them girls. The newspaper reporters, Malcolm X only knew about the girls because the newspaper reporters had already been talking to them. J. Edgar Hoover wasn't playing no damn games. If he had the goods on you, he came out with it. He let everybody know he didn't take cheap shots. He took kill shots. If he had the goods on you, he shut you down. He didn't make any idle threats. And he didn't make any threats, period. If you were a threat, he took you down. Folks still sitting here saying this nonsense about Dr. King. If there were any white women, they would have been named them. They would have been put them out there. She'd be on 60 Minutes and every damn thing else for the last 40 years. You know, like they did Cosby. But they know that folks will sit up here and if they lie, they'll just run with it. These folk aren't even asking themselves today, by the way, why is it they never named these women? None of these women have ever been named. And why does the J. Edgar Hoover just put their names out? Because that would have took King down, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would have. That's why it ain't there. You didn't have a white woman to give them. Well, we got a rumor. How about we do that? That's a psyop. They love talking about psyops, except, well, there's some things King was talking about that I didn't like. Okay, it's like, great. Now that we've done that, now we found our wedge we can use. Are there some things about him you don't like? And okay, well, we'll make up a lie. And if we said it, then it didn't come from you. So you can go ahead and sign on for it because we said it. Now here you come with Diddy. Well, you know, folks have known things for years. Known what things for years? Well, you know this. Folks have always talked. You mean rumoring? Well, you know, it ain't just rumors now. Like the first caller, it ain't just rumors now. Okay, name the names. Well, I ain't got no names to give you, but everybody know. You mean the rumoring. And next thing you know, that chips away and chips away and chips away until eventually, well, we'll just believe anything. And then here comes Cassie with no evidence of her own. But we've chipped away at you long enough that now everybody else with a petty grievance or a real one, we've tricked them. Now that we've assassinated your character, we've tricked them into going along with it because they're carrying a grudge. And if that sounds like how they divided and conquered in Africa, you win the prize. So now, hey, look, we're not just going after Diddy. Take a look at all these Negroes over here. They're going after him too. So mission accomplished. But do you think they're going to shut the program down now? Oh, absolutely not. He's just the first. Because the real thing is, this is useless if they only get him. No, you need this to be a widespread societal practice. That this is something that any black man can get caught on. This is something anybody can get. This is worthless if they only get him. That's why you haven't seen it stop since Bill Cosby. It would be worthless if he was the only one they could get. It's only worth something if you can use this en masse across the scale, which is where they are now. So assassinate his character, even if what you're saying is false. Keep chipping away at it. Fuel these other folks out here who are carrying a petty grievance, or even if they have a real one, you are misplacing where that grievance should be. It should be somewhere. It shouldn't be over here. Because now you're going to help empower them. You're not empowering yourself against Diddy. You're empowering the system against all of us. Because what you should be championing is justice. If he's done something wrong, the tools are already in place to go after him for that. You don't have to sit up here and let them make up something with somebody else. All that's going to do is empower them for the day they come after you. I'll let you have the last word.
Yes, sir. Where TVA? Where's that counterfeit $20 bill that George Floyd was passing? They just said it. I'm writing. I say so, and the reason they didn't bring it up is the same reason why Chauvin's still able to put up appeals, because that's still in question according to them. What about Mr. Josh Giddey? You know, from OKC. You see, it ain't just the media who's quiet about it. The Me Too quiet about it. All the feminists, the women, they quiet about it, but they don't dig up all of that traffic stop 5 years ago. He peed in the bed when he was 3, like they do with us. So I'm with you 100%. I ain't backing Diddy either. I'm not backing Diddy either, but I see what the game is. And last thing, I saw in the chat folks was talking about, what do you mean rough role play? Simply, as I use the example of white dudes with the bed wenches and they play slave role play, what happens when a black dude is with a white woman and do reversal, revenge against the slave master, and then he has some rough sex with her?
Oh, it doesn't even have to get that far along. That's why I keep bringing up Kim Kardashian. Remember her? All of a sudden, I was on drugs when I was with Dre J. I was on drugs when we were doing those videos and stuff. Oh, I was on things. I'm like, that was a very serious thing for her to say. To say something like that, well, I made I was on drugs and things. You trying to get a pass in white society, and first thing Negroes, they committed a crime against me. So it doesn't even have to get as far as slave play. We in some Emmett Till territory. She is on video consenting. You can the whole damn world can see it, and she's coming back telling you, oh well, there is some question about whether I was consenting or not. I was on drugs. It's just I wasn't totally in my right mind. And we all know what that means today. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Remember, if they claim they were intoxicated, if they claim they were under the influence, why, that's rape. Why, she can't consent. She can't consent if she's under the influence of something. When they start chirping like that, that's serious business. The poll we got up there in the chat room is P. Diddy obligated to look out for other people's interests? We got 572 votes. 79% say no. He is not obligated to look out for other people's interests. 21% say yes. They think they're friends with Diddy, and Diddy is obligated to look out for his friends. Call from area code 404. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Brian from Atlanta.
Brian from Atlanta, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I was just wanting to call up. I think this has been excellent analysis. You've been spot on. I agree with 95% of what you've been saying tonight. I agree it's a cash grab. However, I think there's a line that's been crossed. And where we diverge is on the account that he also is accused of putting his hands on her. I know that she didn't consent to that. And that's the line where it just goes too far, I think. As much as he's worth, he shouldn't have to resort to that, right? A man with options that's been feeding the troops, he has other methods to make the point or just leave her where she's at, And so that's where I
first of all, that's rumor and unsubstantiated. That's the first thing. At no time did she ever attempt to try to prove that, nor has she ever claimed she has evidence of it. Second of all, once again, that's irrelevant too. And the reason that it's irrelevant is, once again, was she worried about that when he was in New York and she was in Los Angeles? And she's getting on an airplane to fly out to see him. Sir, what line was she crossing?
What line was she crossing at that point?
Yes, sir. If you're going to say that he crossed the line, she's the one in L.A. when he's in New York, and she's the one buying plane tickets to get on a plane to go to New York to go see him after that. What is the line that she's crossing by doing that?
I think she's crossing the line that she didn't want to see him go to jail. And
brother, she's crossing the line of crossing the line of credibility. Why didn't she just stop seeing him? What danger is she in
90
when
seconds.
She's literally on the other side of the country? What danger is she in at that point to be able to just walk away from him if what you're saying happened?
Yeah, she's no longer in danger at that point.
Right, but I'm saying this goes to her credibility. And why didn't she do it, sir, if that's what was occurring? If that was actually what was happening?
Well, we know why she did it, right? She, as you mentioned, she was scared.
60 seconds.
Right?
Okay, but sir, no, not true. You all forget the chronology of it. You could claim that this was because of the record deal in the first year or two, but sir, by year 5 or 6, what record deal we talking about? She hadn't put out an album. And there was no album under development. So what record deal are we talking about by year 5, 6, 7, 8? What record deal are we talking about?
Well, at that point, it's not the record album that she wanted to do with Diddy, right?
Right, but she claimed that she was abused even then too. So if she was still being abused in year 5, 6, 7,
10
8
seconds.
Then what in the world was she still there for?
So to prove she was ride or die, that she was willing to go further than any of these other girls.
Or maybe, number one, it didn't occur. And that she was lying about that the way she was lying about everything else because she violated her non-disclosure agreement. She's under an NDA. She accused him of a crime because she knew that was the only way that she could press him and be able to get around that NDA. So the slimy lawyers told her, well, as long as if he committed a crime against you, then you don't have to honor the NDA. All of a sudden, he committed a crime against me. And the crime that she's claiming was that essentially that he drugged her, and that since she was being drugged, that was the crime. Having sex with her while she was drugged, that was the crime. Now that's what she was saying. She wasn't even saying all this stuff you're saying. She wasn't saying that much. All of that is extra to try to press him. I'm going to air all the dirty laundry, even the stuff that's not criminal. I'm going to air that too, all to press it. And what I'm saying is that if she is so obviously doing all this extra stuff that is so questionable, why are we not simply calling into question everything she's saying?
Well, because the bodyguard, Roger Bond, corroborated. He came out and said he broke up a fight between him and Diddy and Cassie. And so,
okay, well, sir, no, you're doing it again. Sir, no, you're doing it again. Now, did you all notice how he made that statement and then he just kept running? This is how gossiping and rumor mongering and slandering goes. They make a statement and then they go running for it. Sir, was he ever cross-examined or questioned about the names and dates and times of those things to confirm it? Because you see, Bill Cosby's accusers did the same thing. For instance, Angie Dickinson accused him of assaulting her on the day that he was doing a taping. Bill Cosby could substantiate that he was not with her, but that didn't prevent her from getting in front of cameras 30 years later and saying that he did. So before we just take... there's one thing we know for certain. Sean Combs has made a lot of enemies. He's got a lot of folk who would love to take him down. But none of them have acted in the last 30 years because he's been too slick and he hasn't actually done anything they could go after. Isn't it more likely that now they just see an opportunity where if anything they say will be believed and that they're willing to say false things simply because they believe he deserves it now? That it's okay to say these false things. Well, it's his karma and he got it coming and we won't get another shot at him. Isn't that more likely based on what we've seen?
Yeah, I'm not even worried about all that other stuff. I'm just worried about, like, as a man of means, that the fact that that's kind of weak that you've got to raise your hand to a girl.
But sir, you would be right if it was substantiated. Yes, you would be right if it were. That's the problem with what you keep saying. You're saying it as if it's a proven fact. Yeah. And in reality, you don't have any proof and no one has, but you keep saying those words. Well, he shouldn't have did that. He shouldn't have did that. There's no proof that he did. None.
The bodyguard came out and
you're repeating yourself again, sir. Didn't I just deal with that, sir? Okay. Did I not just address that? You're literally going in circles now. I literally just addressed that, and you literally just conceded, well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, now he's going back saying it again. Sir, you did. Okay, well, we got mental and emotional issues here. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, folks. I literally just dealt with that. Yeah. Gene Deal and everybody else. Yeah. The bottom line is nobody said anything before now. The bottom line is nobody said a word before Cassie filed her lawsuit. You know why? Because she was the only one willing to take her falsehoods to this extent. So these other folks who have no standing and also, have no liability, they're not going to pay any sort of penalty. A bodyguard. Okay. Do you know how many bitter bodyguards there are in the entertainment industry who go sit up here and say anything so they can get some attention for it? Hey, dude, if it was such a problem, what the hell didn't you say anything before? If it was so reprehensible, why didn't you say anything then? So he didn't say nothing then. He didn't do nothing then. Well, he was with you. He was there. He saw that. P. Diddy has a bunch of enemies, a bunch of people holding petty grudges who have no problem embellishing on the truth, because he's been so slick and slippery. And well, if all we got to do is plant some evidence or fudge a little testimony, well, he deserves it. And what I'm saying is, yeah, he may be a scumbag, but don't sit up here and play that game and cross that line. Don't play that game. Don't do that. That's not the thing to do. And they play upon people's pettiness to do such a thing. Let me get caller from area code 701. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Lorraine calling out of Fargo, North Dakota.
Lorraine, Fargo, what's on your mind?
I'm really glad that you decided to do this because, as you've stated, in the previous broadcast as well as tonight, nobody's just riding with him, but anyone that has a son, a brother, a mate, or any man himself that is, not looking at it in the same context is really doing themselves a disservice. When you think of, like, all the way back to Woody Allen to Weinstein, I cannot think of one interview where you can, or podcast or anything, where you can just see white males, and for the most part, there's not many other than like ultra feminists that are even of the white race that are just constantly talking about them and
it's even more than that.
To blow the whistle.
It's even more than that. Think about this for a few moments. Stephen A. Smith's jughead ass is always on TV yelling at black men and this, that, and the other. Then when they show on video his good buddy and friend for life, Dana White of the UFC, smacking his woman up on video now. It's on video. And Stephen A. Smith didn't have any of that. Dana White's a friend of mine, and I know I talked about these things, but it's just all of a sudden he starts explaining. He's not condemning anything. And remember, I've already covered this before with the CEO of the San Francisco Giants. He's on video dragging his damn wife. She trying to grab his cell phone, so I don't know if it's another broad in the picture or whatever. On video, dragged her cleaning out the damn chair. When she puts out a press release. Ray Rice's wife could have learned some lessons. She put out a press release saying, I slipped and fell out of my chair. Slipped and fell. You can literally see on the damn video, he yanks her and down she go. She said, when I accidentally slipped and fell out of my chair, this in the press release, she told everybody else, this is a personal matter, butt out. Nobody went, and as I understand it, he's still there this day. He's still there this day. Still there this day. Nobody gave him the Bill Cosby treatment, the OJ treatment, the Michael Jackson treatment, the P. Diddy treatment. Ain't nobody did a damn thing, and those are on video. But I got niggas on my phone talking about the ex-bodyguard. He said something here. We got video on these folks. Well, there's them over there. They should have did something. I don't know why they didn't get interested in it. They didn't get interested in it because they're not the targets. And even if you bring them undeniable, incontrovertible evidence that they've committed the same crime, they're going to tell you, yeah, tell it to the judge. Get that out of here. And what I'm saying is, okay, if we cannot all be equally comfortable, damn it, we will all be equally uncomfortable. Don't sit up here and tell me that you're only going to press these rules, press this rumor mongering, press this slandering if there's a black person you go after, because they never stop with the one. They go after the one, and then next thing you know, everybody else is in the crosshairs.
That's right. And then I think, and like I say, hey, go by their playbook. We need, ride with your people. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm not saying all wrongs or anything like that, but at what point are women responsible for, the fact that that's just like in real life, like not even just in the celebrity world. We know certain people, certain men, this is how they get down. This is what they do when they're entertaining women. This is how they party. And you'll have the same females that go and party with them same guys. And when they're doing that, they know exactly what time it is when they go to those parties. And if you think for 1 minute that it's okay for women to be able to come back and say, oh, well, I was under the influence. I mean, come on now. At what point are women responsible for the things that we choose to do? You know what I'm saying? Instead of just blaming, and especially, like I said, at the end of the day, it's always black men that are always the ones that are looked at as the worst. And then the other thing that I want to say before I get off and land my plane, go look, go to Google and look at the lyrics to Me and You. If you look at the lyrics, I mean, if you just wander over there, if you look at the lyrics, talking about the secret. I know all the guys are talking about how I do what I do, this, and that. We don't know at the end of the day who before Diddy, who Cassie had been humping up on to get into the industry, like you said, in the clubs.
Well, she was with, we know that
moved,
she was with Ryan Leslie. Ryan Leslie was the guy that she ran off with Diddy on. We know that. She was with Ryan and she got flued out. All of a sudden, she's this sweet, innocent princess. And what I'm saying is, we haven't gotten to a point of questioning those things because the truth of the matter is the industry understands, the society understands. P. Diddy, they let him hang out there and stuff and get away with a bunch of stuff for a bunch of years. Now they're ready to liquidate him because it's time to go ahead and snatch the wealth back. It's time to go ahead and redistribute that. And it's time to go ahead and take what you got. And they know that, yeah, he's made a lot of enemies. He's made a lot of enemies, all of which will have no problem whatsoever getting together, ganging up on him and saying whatever now that they smell blood in the water. So it's always been this. She's never been this little innocent princess. That was never the case. It's an insult to our intelligence to tell us it is. What would have been nice would have been to question her about that. That would have been nice. But P. Diddy's representation understood, but what does that help us? Because we can't question her without her being able to question us. So we can cross-examine her, but she's going to get to put all this stuff out there. And it's like I was telling you all before about Lizzo. Lizzo wants to get around this lawsuit thing because she just doesn't want to be put under deposition having to admit what they were doing over in Amsterdam. That's what those folks are going after her for. Yeah, she hasn't really committed a crime. It's like, okay, we got dirt on you, so it's a shakedown. We busting them pockets open. That's the game that's going on here now. It's okay, Diddy, I got proof, and if you do dispute it, and this is the strategy I believe they were using, if you do dispute it, I'm going to go get all those male escorts that I willingly had sex with. She was basically playing a game of chicken. I'm betting that you are you're more afraid of getting those escorts to say what you did with them than I am of you getting me to say what I did with them.
Yes, and then it's a prime example of why you said the other night when you had the hate or debate, when you were talking about how important it is to have some kind of, maturity and self-control when it comes to laying around with people. And I'll land my plane. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Look, the bottom line is, ladies, you can do what you want to do. I ain't hating on you. We don't hate on hoes. Never have. But what I am saying is that we got to be adults. And this idea that the men got to carry the freight and have eternal liability, and the women can just, anytime I get ready to, if I don't like what I've done, then I can just demand that we punish you for what I did here. If it goes bad, I've got a whole pension to get. And what I'm saying is, fellas, do you understand the rules that they're using against Diddy, or trying to? Those are the rules that you and I will be held under. Under those rules. The rule that says that your ex can come back in 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 or 8 years, and all she's got to do is accuse you of something, and now you're behind the 8 ball. That even if you have... Folks, there's no way in the world that somebody is sitting up here claiming that they are, quote, abused and under your control for no 3 or 4 or 5 damn years. That is nonsense. And yet this is what we're being told. And this is a weapon. But this weapon is no longer just in Cassie's hands. This weapon is out in the wild. Remember, there were thousands of those types of claims made in the year before they sunset that law. Thousands. And they weren't all celebrities. There's a lot of jaded folk out there. A lot of bitter broads. You became a doctor. You became a lawyer. You became an engineer. You got hip to the game. She didn't like what happened. She didn't like the way it went down. Couldn't get over on you the way they wanted to. Oh, well, if I got to go down, we all going down. Baby, you didn't go down, nothing. It's just the thing is over. You wanted to leave. You want to do your thing. Go ahead and do your thing. Yeah, but I didn't know you were going to go up bigger than that afterwards. So, yeah, I ain't okay with that. Well, I thought you were all right with Alex over there. I thought you and Alex was kicking it big. What you doing back over here? I want the fellas to understand that this idea that we can just be arbitrarily called out at any time by any rando female anywhere, simply for that reason. I'm like, oh no, unless we get those kind of powers, to hell with that. Men need to stop being such butt-kissing, pandering, simp, sucker, beta-ass idiots. Sitting up here telling yourself that if I show the females I'm harmless, everything will be fine, you be the first one they're trying to knock off. To the fellas out here, folks, I'm talking to the men and the women. We need to have some adult rules, and you got to stick by that. Ladies, if you throwing them legs open because you're speculating that if you sleep with this man long enough, you gonna get a payoff, hey, baby, you pay your money and take your chances. You pay your money and you take your chances. It is what it is. If you make that bet that if I get into a room alone with Diddy, I will do anything that he wants because I want to get a Birkin. And maybe I'll be able to parlay that Birkin into a Benz and parlay that Benz into a condo. But I'll do anything with Sway Lee. I'll do anything with Drake. I'll do anything with Bourbon. I'll do anything with Lil Wayne. If they'll just let me stay in the room. Okay, ladies, y'all been doing that for time immemorial. Okay, but here's the bottom line. If you make that deal with the devil, you're going to have to deal with the flames. If you make that deal with the devil, you're going to have to deal with the flames. Fellas, if you meet that badass little broad and she's telling you about she wants to go out and eat this and eat that, I need a man who's going to pay my bills, and you sitting up here telling yourself, well, I'm Mr. Nice Guy. Fellas, you pay your money, you take your chance. Well, if I just show her that I'm better than the one she was with, she'll treat me better than she treated the one she was with. Fellas, welcome to the adult world. If you take that gamble, you pay your money, you take your chances. You got to hold that. You got to hold that. Well, Jason, it didn't work out. What are you upset about that it didn't work out? I'm upset because I feel like I got exploited and got used. And I was afraid to say no because I felt that if I just did whatever she wanted, that would give me the advantage. Oh, so you thought you could pander and suck up and it didn't work. Well, you got to hold that. You got to hold that. That's the way that works. Ladies, if you run off with this dude and y'all two are together and you sitting up here telling yourself that, well, because he's rolling in a Bentley, you should be rolling in a Bentley, I don't know if that's going to happen, baby. I don't know if that's going to happen. And then you like, well, he got another broad one. Baby, that might be the way it goes. I don't know. Did you do what she did? Did you do your due diligence? What's the deal? I don't understand. How did it go? But then again, that can happen. Welcome to the adult world. If you're sitting up here telling yourself, I'm going to leverage my sexuality for benefits, hey, you are rolling the dice. Well, I don't want to have to remember all those slutty, smutty things I did. Then don't do the slutty, smutty things. I want to go be a happy housewife in the suburbs, but 60 niggas doesn't see me naked. Don't know if that's going to work. Hey, baby, that's the risk you take. That's the risk you run. No man is obligated to look out for your best interests. I certainly hope that we deal with honest people. The only thing I would require him to do is to be honest with you. If that man is honest with you about the nature of your relationship and honest with you about the level of benefits that you receive, and you tell yourself, and ladies, y'all got to remember this, a female, you can literally tell a woman, look, I just want you to be a girlfriend. I'm not trying to get married. She will literally tell you that when you said, I'm not trying to get married, that she took that to mean you're going to get married in the future. I have literally had several females who have said that to me over the course of the last 25 years. That when I said, I'm not trying to marry nobody, I don't think I would ever marry anyone. That's not something I'm trying to do right now. They said, oh, well, when you said you weren't trying to get married, I took that to mean that one day you'll get married in the future. Literally. And I'm not the only guy who has heard a female that you told her, yeah, I'm not really trying to get married. That's not something I'm trying to do. And she's sitting there telling you, I thought you meant that one day you'd reconsider. Well, how did you figure that? Because you didn't say, I'll never get married. That has literally happened to me. I asked them, how did you figure that? I never said no garbage like that. What are you talking about? Oh, well, when I heard it, what I heard was, well, you didn't say I would never get married. So in other words, you're just listening for what you want to hear, and you're just making up whatever you want to after that. Ladies, if you choose to operate that way, we are not obligated to indulge your fantasy. We are obligated to be honest with you. And if a man is honest with you, that's all he owes you. That's all. Fellas, if a chick is honest with you, that's all she owes you, even though I know honesty is not at the top of the list of priorities lately, but that's all she owes you. But for men, you're going to have to start looking at these chicks and examining them and observing them and accepting what you see. But furthermore, you better wake up to the fact that the Bayhive, Beyonce, that ain't no damn joke. The women are on code. The women got groupthink in full effect. And you're sitting up here saying, yeah, but the men shouldn't do that. Well, P. Diddy shouldn't be smacking Cassie up. Meanwhile, Keke Palmer is giving Darius Jackson the damn people's elbow. Ain't no rules over here. The women are out here trying to run niggas over in cars. Ain't no rules over there on their side. She's telling you, you can't throw no punches. Meanwhile, they over there practicing with Customato. On video, telling you what you can't do. I need the fellas to understand, hey, man, damn the nonsense you talking about. This just needs to be even Steven. If we cannot all be equally comfortable, damn it, we're going to be equally uncomfortable. You fellas trying to simp your way through this. The women ain't respecting that. They're going to sit there and pat you on the back, take advantage of the powers you give them, and then they're going to turn right around and bite you with them. All they're going to do is turn around and bite you with it. Fellas, when was the last time that you heard any of these women get upset when you told them about a female who physically assaulted a man? When's the last time you heard these women get upset over it? I didn't say sit there and just tell you, well, folks should keep their hands to themselves. How many times you seen them get upset over it? Tell me the last time you saw these women get upset when they saw a woman assaulting, slapping, smacking, hitting a man. When's the last time you saw these women get upset over it? They sitting up here telling you what should never, never, ever occur. Do they talk like that when the women are out here wilding the hell out? No, all these punitive rules and all of these punitive cultural rules are only being instigated and perpetuated and targeted on us as men. That's it. And I'm saying that before you condemn Diddy because you have some other grievance, please understand that whatever powers you give them to go after him, whatever dirty, underhanded methods you allow and condone for them to go after him, just remember you are setting the stage for them to come after you or your sons or your grandsons. You are allowing them to come after you or yours. And if they could do this to Diddy with his level of resources, and they were able to get you to sit there and shake your head, well, he shouldn't have did what he did. And I already heard that he was a bad dude. I heard rumors and speculation, but I already heard he's a bad dude. Well, just remember, Mike Brown was not P. Diddy. How long did it take for them to slander his reputation? Trayvon Martin, a kid, how long did it take to slander his reputation? Tamir Rice, a child. Ayanna Jones, a baby. They got our damn babies out here and they've attacked their reputations, assassinated their character, and they wasn't P. Diddy. Before you endorse injustice, you better think. You want to go after him, you already got the powers you need to. Anything you upset over, there's already everything you need there. You use that. Do not give them other things that are unrelated because you're like, well, I'll do it. I'm vicarious. I'll teach them something. Believe me, you will see it coming for you. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to The Business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been a member of our Patreon, the link is in the description. You definitely want to go ahead and check that out. We do it every weekend, 12 noon Central Time. Been bangers of a program here. The young man who called me up on the last program and was talking about, I signed up for the Patreon and I'm not a high value man yet. I had him call up this weekend. Think that was a very revealing phone call for everyone. My members of my Patreon, you definitely want to check that out as well. Here on the poll in the chat room, is P. Diddy obligated to look out for other people's interests? 776 votes. The yeses are 21. The yeses are 21% and the noes are 79%. We're going to go ahead and end that poll here. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you to everyone who has contributed on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate that. And this concludes this broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business or your business will handle you.